Alrighty, my gamers, howdy. It's one of those weeks we finished all the last second preparations just in the nick of time, and we got a couple of minutes left to spare before it's go time, as they say. But yeah, this is Bounty Hunters that you're watching right now, and for the upcoming 3-ish hours, we're gonna settle the 7 show matches shown on the screen currently. There are no skill level restrictions per se to participate, but skill-based matchmaking is applied to all of the sets so that we may play matches with maximum nail-biting factor and fairness. The name of the game is Guilty Gear Strive, as you may know, and the format is first to 7 wins. I'm your usual host QK tonight, and now we should probably start prepping up what's to come, for we are a little bit behind in schedule. In fact, we just finished one of the matchup cards just a couple of seconds ago. Yeah, of course, because of all the fumbles by yours truly. But you know, the name of the game is always fuck it, we'll do it live. So yeah, there's a lot of random select match on the card tonight. In fact, one more thing to know is that I'm not exactly sure if the K versus Loki match is gonna happen, the number 5 slot, but we'll see. But now let's hop on to the first spectacle of the evening, which will be Gusto Faust versus Metadona Unica. Got one Unica after the release week, which is definitely warming up my heart. I've been playing tons of Unica myself, and I've been looking forward to casting more Unica, if possible. Lovely, Shodo kind of character as far as those, as far as that archetype could go in Guilty Gear Strive. And it's gonna be against Faust tonight. Cool thing about Unica is that she, being an all-rounder and having a fireball, especially a beam type of fireball, she is probably not gonna succumb to any sort of like heavy zoning from the cast. So characters that, traditionally employ some amount of keep away, such as, Faust here, or to a certain extent, I guess, Happy Chaos, maybe Bedman sometimes, Axel. Unica has some tools against those kind of characters, even though she is a little clumsy in her mobility, moves a little slower than many other dashing types. I think is she slower than Sol, or same speed? I think a little slower. And then her jump is also a little bit clunky, which of course helps her in certain aspects, because you come down faster, and you can imagine what that is gonna do when characters like, Gotluis, for example, are jumping at you and coming out of their jump arc really fast and coming down really fast. It can be an advantage as well for her mix-up game, especially. But we're gonna have to see how Metadona is choosing to tackle this one tonight. Of course, Faust has his items. If you let him be on the other side of the screen, the value is gonna add up slowly over time. You're just begging to get yourself neutral skipped or getting yourself locked down at neutral if Faust happens to throw one of the good items, or even getting yourself mixed up if it's items such as like Meteor, which can be followed up with a front backside mix-up teleport. There are, of course, the standard lockdown items. You have your hammers, you have your 100-ton hammers, you have your little Fausts that are annoying to bypass. But again, if there is something in between Faust and Unica, there is always the beam. The beam is one of your friends, and it's not the only fireball that she has either. She has the jump D in the air, which can be followed up by Arbalest air fireball. Yeah, she has decent angles, decent variations to the kind of fireballs that she can throw. I think we have both of our competitors ready to go already, so let me tell that feel. Can start as soon as you're good to go. We have a decent amount of newcomers tonight as well, out of which Gusto would be one of them. And I think I heard Gusto say a couple of words in the chat earlier as well, how this is a very different type of event that compared to like what they're used to. And it is kind of so compared to like the overwhelming amount of double elimination brackets that you usually have, which you can, for example, sign up the day before and just be ready to go when it's go time. The show matches like this, especially like FT7 events that have skill-based matchmaking, are a little different. You kind of have to commit to that matchup. But on the other hand, you also get a little bit of an advantage or a little bit of an opportunity to lab against that character that you're destined to play against. And getting matched up against the new DLC character is certainly, I think, a good opportunity. Everybody's learning how to play against Unica at the moment, so it's a great occasion. There's the first beam, dash jump. However, Gusto was able to block that, and now getting out of this corner would be a super important beam to hold down the fort. Trips on the banana peel. The banana tends to be one of the lesser effective items. Usually that doesn't provide that much. Oh, the little guy actually does not get activated. Unica, in fact, able to skip a hop, metadona to the other side. There's another bomb. Double hot potato. Oh, 2S was able to actually catch the bomb behind him. And the little guy is going to activate it. That's going to be a combo breaker. 6 heavy into fishing rod. That's going to be a kill. I thought for a moment that the little guy was already gone, but he came back from the east side of the corner and saved the game for Gusto. A decent 5 heavy hit here. You know, usually when you're poking with that 10 frame big normal from Unica, the 5 heavy, you're looking for counter hits for the most part. But it has pretty good follow-ups on block and normal hit as well, and has some good frame traps as well, canceling into, for example, 214S. Big frame track and big massive damage on counter hit. Drifting forward, slow down frame, so Gusto smartly holds the buttons and waits for their turn, waits for the frames to come back. Ooh, to the other side, the trumpet is not gonna play an effect in this one. I was worried for a moment that Gusto might actually get, because of the side switch, was gonna be knocked into the trumpet and was gonna probably get another combo breaker, but, you know, saved by the bell in a way. Golfing the hammers. The hammers are some of the toughest items to overcome because they do not only initially manifest as hitboxes, but they're gonna bounce on the ground for a couple of seconds. And on hit, they're kind of easy to follow up as well. Now, due to the low damage of this super, we shouldn't die just yet. Even though Unica is below average health, we'll be able to survive. And now, well, is the mix. We start with the safe jump and trades with the 5 heavy. Usually that trade would not be great in Faust's favor, I think. But with this amount of health, Gusto is able to grasp the first one. Definitely one of those buttons that Unica likes to press as much as possible. Usually, it's a little bit of a double-edged sword in a way that it is a massive reward button. Tried to press it again there. However, Gusto went for a button that was faster than 10 frames of startup. That's gonna be usually the starting point of the round start RPS against Unica. If you want to present a button, you better present something that is faster than 10 frames. Bouncing out of the corner with that slide, the PRC after the super, providing help. Wow, the 2S? That was a 2S. Actually connected with the mix. Interesting hitbox interaction there. The fishing pole finds the hit, and that's a massive hit. Traditionally, whichever version of that move Faust has had in whatever version of Guilty Gear, usually a lot of reward for hitting it. The fishing pole. Predator in the past. Ooh, the drive-by jump 2K actually lands a hit. Augusto gets a decent combo. Ooh, lots of very ambiguous items. Was able to pick up the horn as well. I think the horn actually activated the bomb and sent the hot potato towards Metadona. Switch sides with the teleport, once again picking up. Ooh, this is gonna be a great hit! And able to follow it up as well. Only a small combo because items in Guilty Gear Strive force quite a lot of gravity proration, so you're not gonna get the biggest juggles from those. And Another great frame trap for Gusto. 2-0. Starting very strong. Even though Unica is a DP character, so far we haven't seen the DP too much, which could be, there's two different kinds of explanations here. Either Metadona has been trying to get it out and get those reversal DPs to represent, or but hasn't been able to get the input out properly, hasn't been able to sort of perform the reversal input. Other option is that you're just utilizing the... Oh, is that gonna go point to the bomb? Yes, indeed! And the bomb is still behind! Unica, oh, great 2K, sending the hook potato at Gusto, and the PRC super once again, great usage of that. One of the slowest supers to start up in the game, but the coin has two sides. It is slow to start up, but that provides you extra amount of potential invo frames when you're doing shenanigans such as the super PRC, which is basically you're PRCing the super before the flash goes active. So basically it's utilizing the pre-flash invulnerabilities of those moves. Ooh, it's not the greatest item. Picking up yourself. This time the PRC super does not quite work out. The natural enemy of that tech would be if the opponent actually performs a late media of sorts. Because like you're usually betting that you're trying to survive through those invo frames, or with those invo frames, you're trying to survive through the opponent's meaty active frames. But if they purposely slow down or rather delay their Oki, you're gonna naturally get caught during... Oh, but trying to poke into the bomb! But that was the wrong time! Metadona gets caught, and a big 5k anti-air. Those are some of the biggest startups. The shimmy! Oh my god, Gusto with all of the fundamentals in the world. Frame trap, we're arsing into a mix-up. Jump 2k towards the corner. This could be a small chance, but it's quite tough. Look at that. Once again, ready with the 5k as soon as they see the incoming instant air dash. And Unica, I gotta say, Unica, probably one of the worst candidates in the game. Starts with a DP, that's gonna be a little bit of a punish. Throwing item. S. Oh, that's a lot of good items. Oh, however, the 5 heavy. Did Metadona actually predict that? Pressing 5 heavy as a reaction to the teleport and getting a counter towards the corner. There was no... Oh, the bomb off screen. Once again, the items have been working perfectly for Gusto this time around. And here's the teleport RC. Baits the burst. However, Metadona not quite ready to take it just yet. And the jump D from perfect angle. Very deep hitting jump in. Excellent for especially angles where you're trying to prevent like slight type of moves coming in. Now Metadona picks up the horn. It's gonna hold down the opponent for a while. Frame trap into Red Wild Assault. And the big combo that we get. Yes, indeed, we actually... No, wait, huh? That was not empowered. Wait, why? Metadona did perform 6 heavy before that, so that should have been an Arbalest super. Yet the game still provided them with the red super. Interesting. There is, I think, a known issue where Arbalest empowered supers and specials somehow just skip the Arbalest state in this version. I think it's just a bug. I think that's probably what happened there. Because it looked like a perfect buffer on the 6 heavy super. Yeah, bulldozing. As soon as Metadona sees the trumpet come out, that's kind of like a cue. All right, it's go time. We're fighting for that little advantage on the next interaction. And whoever gets it is probably gonna get the next mix-up in as well. It's a banana, which... Ooh! It's still lit. Wait for the explosion, but that's enough for Gusto to gain frame advantage. Start pushing out of the corner. Will they be able to, though? Picks up the... It's dangerous. Gotta protect yourself. Yeah, extended hurt box on that afro. Looks cool, but very dangerous, especially against Faust's air normals, such as the jump D. Here comes the jump again. A little bit too far, but still in a good spot. Goes for a 5B frame kill, looks like. Well, Metadona has been setting it up with... Oh, that's gonna be a punish! Complete whip of the stun dipper! Very long recovery! And a combo of your choice towards the corner. Gusto once again. It's been very, very close. A lot of these rounds super close. But again, the clutchness factor of Gusto has been excellent so far, especially towards the end of the rounds. Keeping it very patient. Oh, that's gonna be a punish though. Let's see if we get the punish. Yes, indeed. Unica is one of the harder hitting characters in the game. Rivaling. Oh, but the combo breaker from the Horde. And then the mix-up immediately throws meteors. This time it's, oh, that's good RPS. Jumps out of the reset beam the beam guard crush. One of the most important things that you have to do against Unica, because you can perform that guard crush blue beam from even like the far slash. Like far slash, you're gonna get Arbalest state, you can try to go for the beam, and there's around, I think, 12 frame window for you to press a button or jump out of it, which is quite generous, but the problem is if Unica does not cancel into anything, you're in a very disadvantageous air-to-ground situation. Started with the 5 heavy again. The trade, however, makes sure that Gusto ain't gonna take the most hardest hitting combo of the century. Wasn't there a... Oh, I see. The meteors weren't actually thrown. Gusto actually inhaled them. So there is an opportunity to throw them now, potentially. We set up the Afro though. There they go. Throwing a hammer as well, so there's basically nothing that metadona could do here. The BRC gets thrown. And a little bit of life left, and with that little bit of life, it's gonna be so hard to use the burst as well. We talk about this so much where when you are on your last pixels and you have your full burst, the opponent is gonna know they're probably gonna be hunting for that burst after every single hit. So like getting that blue burst out is extremely difficult, and sometimes you might just wanna hold on to it, try to get an offensive situation going and use it for Wild Assault maybe. Little guy activated, smartly able to block. Frame trap by the Wild Assault. That's gonna cause a wall break. Transition, 50 meter ready to go. Soft knockdown, but we have a lot of meter. That was a great check. Look at that. 2B check for the Stun Dipper. Stun Dipper RC though. But now the meter has been spent and metadona is really low on resources. Goes for the beam again. And the PRC super PRC saves the day once again. And that's a great kind of move against the type of meaty that metadona was going for there. The 5 heavy meaty only has 3 active frames. That is no bueno against the sequence like the super PRC from Faust. Usually. Cross under the beam again. Okay, choosing to go airborne and hold your air momentum with the use of the love bag in order to avoid the bomb. There's a lot of bombs on the ground, crosses up. The second bomb is gonna explode in the background, picks up the Afro as well. And once again, Gusto able to utilize so many of these items. Tried to go for the command grab, but a little bit too early. 2K. Stagger pressure, here comes the back. That's actually a little bit of a mix-up. Tap them with the 5, yeah, that should be a kill. Gusto is absolutely tearing it. I'm especially surprised about the ability to utilize almost every single item that has been thrown on the field so far. It's like even the it's just everything seems to be falling in place with Gusto. It's just the experience, being able to modify your game plan on the go depending on what kind of items you throw. For example, right now, oh, that was a great idea for metadona. Tried to go for a YOLO Dipper in order to pick up the horn, but wasn't able to get it for some reason. I think the Dipper actually took metadona past it. Uh-oh, gonna pick up the horn here. RC, yep, and press the 5P. Gusto had the guts to press the button because they knew that the little guys were coming. So even if you get frame trap, there isn't gonna be a combo. Metadona would have had to drop that. And now, both players barely whiffing it. The meteors were thrown though. Another combo breaker, and look who's here, little guy. We're gonna have to deal with that. Yep. It's just, even though Gusto tripped on their own banana peel, there were so many forces working against metadona's pressure here, and finally finds a hit. Empowered, Stun Dipper towards the corner. Wait, huh? Did that whiff? That must have been too early. That looked like the usual like 6 heavy into empowered beam, but that must have been like 1 frame too early because Gusto was able to retaliate against that. Ooh, I like that. And picks up the horn again. That's great one. Into the B&B combo as well. This could be a wall break. The idea was there for metadona to try to seal the burst away just in time so that the wall break could be secured. It's gonna secure it here though. Through the wall we go. Massive life advantage. If this is not the round that metadona wins, then my goodness, I don't know what it's gonna be. Teleport. Oh, but doesn't get the conversion there. Frame trap into the blue wild assault, into the corner. This is tough. Gusto has no life to spare whatsoever. Oh, and the guts to go for the kill. Look, wait, where's the hammer? I thought the hammer was gonna come down there. I thought Gusto threw the hammer there, but I guess not. Maybe it disappeared because the game ended. But again, there was a lot of junk that metadona had to worry about, but still had the heart to press the bar slash and try to attack Gusto before it's like, well, I'm gonna block all of these items, then I'm gonna block some sort of mix-up after that probably. The air dash jump heavy, forcing the burst out of Gusto. Ooh, that's a close slash. It's gonna be a decent combo, even though Faust doesn't have the highest damage. I think drop the combo because they didn't quite get to the 50 meter, and now unfortunately due to the multi-hit of mix, it's gonna take the wall before there is a chance to go for the super, but now 100 meter for Gusto. We have so many resources to play with here. Who misses it? However, happy little accident, but utilize that, goes under the fishing pole with the gun dipper, and now I actually like this. Even if the idea was to take the wall, maintaining this corner position is probably even better. Too heavy anti-air, but that was really close to the ground, and that was no counter hit either. So it was a little bit of a tough hit confirm for metadona to see if the opponent was actually like comboable there or not. Great understanding of the frame data of the DP. Gusto knows if you block it and if you crouch under the second hit, you have so much time to dash forward and punish Unica for that DP. Let's see it again. Oh, but the item kind of screws up the setup. This is a set point for Gusto. DP from where? The hit point, I've had that so many times as well. The Unica DP extending behind herself. The little guys making sure that the target is in place. That's a close slash anti-air. Won't be able to pick it up though. Teleport to the other side. Gusto has so much meter to work with. This is such a good situation. Extends the combo. All right. Okay, we make sure that we have the wall break. We go to the low tension situation, but there is gonna be tension coming up. Tried the instant air backdash. However, Faust's anti-airs are so massive, and now potentially the last hit, close slash. Out of it. That was probably a teleport mix-up supposed to happen. Too heavy from downtown. However, that's such a hard pickup. Minus there from the Michael sword. Ooh, items are tough. There's the combo breaker, and there's the 6P. The wall of anti-airs of Faust. The stage was set. The little guy on the ground. 0 hit points on metadona. Are you gonna trigger the little guy? Which would mean that Gusto will get to run in, or are you gonna risk it? Try to go over and kind of reaction check Gusto if they have their anti-air on point, ready to go. And oh boy, they do. They did for sure. That was great gameplay exhibition by, or rather Faust gameplay exhibition by Gusto. Our first time Bounty Hunters Faust player here showing really good stuff, really good item awareness, and also decent awareness of the new character that is Unica. I think basically didn't get knowledge checked at all, was able to jump out of the guard crush beams, was able to punish the DPs properly, like everything just fell in place for Gusto. Really good stuff. But also great stuff for metadona for bringing the week 1, or I guess it's week 2 at this point, Unica to the playfield as well. Love to see that character for sure. Now, next one is gonna be a random match, and we're gonna have to do a little bit of setting up for this one. Let me first ask the players if it is okay to send the random choices on the Discord side. And And let's actually switch to our rolling interface. And perhaps explain a little bit, if you've never seen the random select match on Bounty Hunters, so how this is gonna work is, for one, we are randoming a character for each player between every single match. Let's start by swinging the wheel for Munch. On the left and the right, you get to see the player's self-evaluated power tiers, so you can kind of predict where in the spectrum does the random fall into in terms of like how likely it is to win for this player. And these players also chose no duplicates, I believe. So no characters are gonna occur twice for each player. Munch starting with Axel, and Zigra is gonna go in with Sin. So let's see where those are on the tiers. So Munch got Axel, which is... Where are you, Axel? Is it in the... Am I blind? Oh, it's in the bottom tier. Okay. And Sin, being a rather simple character, is still in the bottom tier as well. So we're gonna start this FT7 random select match with lowest possible power tier randoms. Had it flipped? Oh, actually, like, I never actually considered that. So Zigra doesn't actually have a Sin. Okay. Yeah, I never actually, because I always, of course, buy all the DLC characters because it's part of the, part of the business. So I never considered that the players wouldn't have that character. So let's re-roll it then, due to... That's so interesting. I gotta make a note of that and adjust to that in the future. Okay. So technically that would be then a rule where, because we usually give the players an opportunity to sort of modify their character pool if they so desire. So this would be technically a slightly modified version of the pool for Zigra, where the Sin and Alpha will get removed because they just don't own it. You just, I mean, you can't physically play it, right? And Abba was actually pretty high up there. So that changes things in the sense that let's also change the names here. So that would mean Munch is gonna go into this with a very weak character in terms of like what they're able to pilot, and Zigra is gonna have a relatively strong one. But of course, even if we roll like the most powerful character versus the weakest character, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's an auto win. It's like we said, it is the players, it is the characters, or rather, it is the player's self-evaluation for how comfortable they are piloting those characters. All right, enabling. Oh, misses with the jump in. Go into it. The judgment is going to spend quite a bit of jelly. So Zigra exits the state. This is going to be an OTG, right? But should be safe still. Yeah, from that distance, the Super Rensengeki ain't gonna be too tough to deal with. Is there it's like a little bit of a stutter here, maybe? Maybe it's only on spectator side. Ooh, that was a great shot there. The Rensen preventing the initial activation of the mode, and now it's gonna force to a pop. Munch doing really great work in this matchup. Arguably, this probably should be a pretty decent matchup for Axel, because the base version of Abba is, yeah, it's probably the most unagile or probably most unmobile character in the game, which of course changes completely if you get to install. Then you actually become the fastest character for the next 10 seconds, or how many seconds of jelly you have left here.
usually start the round with a 50 jelly gauge, which would be equal to 5 seconds, and the full gauge is equal to 10 seconds. Now activation. Gonna have only, oh, that was a great one! Able to get all of the jelly back that they spent. Usually when you exit the Jealous Rage, you get to keep around half-ish of the jelly that you spent. Now entering the rage once again, another 6 seconds. YRC, smart choice, trying to aim to use all of your defensive methods when basically the opponent's victory condition is activated. This is quite the chess match here. So Zigra staying patient, trying to find parries here to extend your jelly gauge if possible. But ultimately, it's like Abba does not have a dash, and a lot of I think a lot of Axel's folks actually counter the command dash that she has. So there's like very little opportunities for you to do a lot of things, especially due to the newest nerfs to her, where I think her forward dash was nerfed a little bit more than it was in the release version. Ooh, great air-to-air that allows Zigra to go into the mode, find the 6 heavy, and it's done. The deal should be done in just a little bit of a quick combo. This is the power of the jelly-empowered Abba. She's a combo machine, she's a mix-up machine, she is damage machine. She does all offensive-oriented things really well. Runs into the tornado. Ooh, and the judgment is gonna take care of basically anything that the opponent could throw at you. Uninstall, get that jelly back. Nice counter hit, activation. 6 heavy over the 2K. Now this would be big for Munch if you can get Zigra to pop here. And the pop indeed happens. And if that pop happens, that basically means you're not gonna get anything back. That was a great parry, look at that. Able to get a 25 jelly back for hitting that counter hit. Immediate burst, yep, doesn't want to deal with any of that. Now this will not do too much. We'll be able to sort of get a full range, or rather full screen activation on with the use of the super. The Keeper of the Key super is usually like, it's an excellent super when you are in activation, such as like now. It would be, if we go to the next screen, it would be a really, really great tool to just hold the opponent in place. And great choices there as well. Wow, that was absolutely a chess match. I think I forgot to put the lobby on non-rematch lobby as well, so hopefully the players are on point and ready to come out of the lobby. Let's switch room settings to winner stays, which is the better way to do these. And let's go back to rolling. Gotta keep an eye out for those characters that the players don't actually have. So Munch is gonna represent Chip in the next one. And as there are no duplicates, we're removing those from the pool so that they never occur again. Of course, the same character could occur for the other player. And Ino is the choice for Zigra. Let's see where these one are. Chip is again at the bottom tier for Munch, and Zigra's Ino is probably the bottom side as well. Yeah, around the bottom too. Around the no experience at all tier. If we analyze these tiers quickly, let's see. I think there's like equal amount of equal amount of like bottom tier characters, but I think the sort of the peak of the bell curve, or is that the curve I'm thinking about? The peak of the curve is kind of like a little higher for Zigra. So I would say there's a little bit of a higher chance that Zigra will roll a character that they might have at least a little bit of idea about. Or rather, there's a higher chance that Zigra will avoid landmines, let's put it like that. But of course, you know, not everybody knows how to play every character perfectly, and sometimes you just wanna wanna have fun even though you don't necessarily know how to pilot all of the characters in the game perfectly, which is completely fine. And at that point, it's like even a little bit of understanding of you know, where the special moves are, for instance, can get you really far. Or, alternatively, just understanding the fundamentals of Guilty Gear Strive, knowing how things work and knowing how to sort of utilize those fundamentals even with a character that you've never touched before. You can get a lot, like, you can get really far, for example, if you don't know how to play Chip, just with his movement speed and understanding that close slashes are plus and can lead into strike throw in Guilty Gear Strive, and just utilizing basic fundamentals like that can still get you pretty far. We put it with the super, that was a nice idea, however, a little late there, especially since I forgot how whiff punishable, you know, 6 heavy is, but from that distance, it's gonna be a little tough. The wire in there, and since this was a... Ooh, the footsies interaction there, 6K hopping over, finding buttons that we can get value out of, wakes up with a close slash. Have you ever mashed close slash with your life on the line? Is the question. But now Munch, dropping the combo at the end. We still have 50 meters, so there are potential for shenanigans. Munch choosing to try to take a little bit of a more defensive posture here, but the downwards alpha tried to intercept Zikra coming forward, but Zikra never actually did, never really committed that round, I think. Instead choosing to just use the fireball, use the chemical love, and occupy space in case Munch wants to dash in. Close slash towards the corner. Speaking of the close slash strike throw, it's very basic stuff. And Zikra was ready to take it that time. Of course, you could also, you know, no matter what character you play, you always have the very basic Guilty Gear Strive shimmy as well. Dash in, fake a throw. Ooh. Do we get the punish? It's a little bit of a tricky character, the Red Witch here, you know, who does not have a standard dash. In fact, if you dash with her, you're gonna go into a float dash kind of a state, which is great at intercepting the opponent, but can be a little bit of a... It can throw you off if you're not used to it. You can also do stuff like this, float dash in, low, or rather just an empty float dash, and keep the opponent guessing. Zikra taking another one to their name. Back to the rolling board. Not the drawing board, but the rolling board. All right, Munch is gonna be rocking, looks like Sin, and Munch should be a character with Sin, right? Even though we have to remove it from Zikra's pool. And that Sin would still be rather low in the power tier list. But luckily, oh, it's gonna be Bridget for Zikra. And Zikra is a player of, I think is a player of technical characters for sure, as you might imagine, seeing that Zikra's main actually is Asuka. So Bridget being a decently technical character as well, sitting in the middle of the bunch. So decently low power level match coming up next as well. Wish I could see the text is always so small on the tier lists because we're fitting them basically to a really small box in my OBS, so it can be hard to read, and especially since we have a lot of different players playing random tonight, I can't remember what everybody's tiers are named. Okay, swinging with the 6B. Let's see if we have... One of the most important things for Sin, of course, is to have your 2 stamina conversions on board. Oh, going in with the command dash, which in the modern patches you can actually do from a neutral situation now. Sin does have quite a lot of power in his spokes, so you could use stuff like just occupy space with buttons such as like 2S, backwards moving jump heavies, even far slash. The K buttons, D buttons, there's a lot of stuff that you can do, even the big driver. But of course the Strive selling point is the convertibility for Sin. Basically every single hit, as long as you have 2 stamina, theoretically goes into a 50% health combo. And even though there technically was not a single combo for Munch, was able to get that round. Ooh, that was a dash in DP. However, Munch did commit to a backdash, so was a little bit too far to be able to whip punish that. Yo-yo. As long as it's set, allowing to transition into the rolling movement. There we go. Even one stamina burns are actually big in character matches where you have very low power level. No follow-up there, so it's gonna get punished. Another really important thing to know for Sin is that you usually want to do at least the one stamina burn to be safe. So I'm gonna DP, spending the juice, and into Tyrant Barrel. Oh, let's go a little early. There is a knowledge check. There is a knowledge check with that Tyrant Barrel that it is, usually you want to control that with the use of negative edge. So you're holding the button to hold the, to sort of let Sin rev up the blow and then let go when the opponent falls to appropriate distance. But I mean, that's fine. We did get the, I think the Tyrant Barrel still hit. Or did it miss? Okay, Giovanna for Munch. And Zikra is gonna play in the next one. That was actually really great usage of Sin, by the way. Apparently, like, of course, Munch had, like, basically, like, zero experience in that character, but was able to do exactly what you kind of have to do when you're faced with a situation where you're piloting a character that you, like, just can't play. You're doing the best that you can. You're using the, like, the stuff that you know is gonna work. So use the single pokes, use the single stamina burns maybe if you confirm a hit, and just work with what you have. Keep it simple. Keep it as simple as possible in your head, because if you're trying to do stuff that is too difficult, then it's probably not gonna work out because you don't have the muscle memory and you just don't have the knowledge how to work it. So just do what you can. That's kind of my strategy going into matches like that, when you're playing a character that you're just not very accustomed to. It was a great point for Munch to take here. Next one is, I forgot to actually check what the power tiers for these ones were. Oh well, it's gonna be a surprise, I guess. Munch starting with a throw. Giovanna, another very fundamentals-oriented character. Very, if you play Street Fighter, you should be at home with this kind of character, even though she doesn't have a fireball. Not really a Street Fighter character in the way that you, like, not in the Shoto kind of way, but in many other kind of ways. The marker is out, but Munch does not let Zikra out of the corner. Good tech on the throw. Zikra is very, very vigilant for those, I think those fuzzy throw techs looking like they're doing, which probably could be an opportunity for Munch to perhaps go for more shimmies. And this character, Giovanna, let me tell you, is excellent. Excellent with the shimmies. I mean, many characters are, but you know, if you have great mobility, then you also have lots of lots of ways to performing your shimmies as well. Munch takes the first round, starting with a far slash. Even though it's one of the slower far slashes, Testament's far slash really great range and really works great in tandem with the curse mechanic, which Zikra is able to apply for the first time. There we go. Look at that range. Triggers the explosion and getting the mini Roman cancel if you will, from the curse explosion. Of course, Testament is a character that leans heavily on keep away when you are still in your sort of setup phase of your game plan. You have to, after all, throw at least 2 types of fireballs to get the curse on. Oh, but the low stature of Giovanna, able to go under, and now dash. Zikra was trying to press buttons there, but won't be able to break the throw. That's gonna be too late or not. Usually, Calamity 1 is a very, very slow reversal, and I thought that Munch's strike might have been fast enough to recover there, but apparently not. Zikra gets the next round, and now we're gonna have to start the round for Munch with, oh, the jump D was a little off-angle hit there. Still, Zikra able to keep the pressure position with the use of that burst, but the back turn incident could be critical here. The strike throw is once again name of the game. Glow slash is gonna get killed by the Calamity 1. Big damage, and now A fireball, great prediction of the area where the opponent wants to be, and another air catch into a little combo. Even though those combos don't hit that hard for Testament, they add up. If your opponent gets frustrated, if they're trying to bulldog their way in, you might run into a couple of those fireballs, and the damage will add up over time. Especially the heavy fireball, the up fireball. If you get hit by that, that's usually great combo opportunities for Testament. So Johnny is going to be the character in the next one for Munch, and Zikra will get... let's see, where's the Johnny? The Johnny is not very high again. Milia is the choice for Zikra. And Milia is in... Yeah, in the sort of the basics tier. Whereas Johnny is Johnny is in the not so confident tier, if you will. Which is probably doubly bad for characters that are like sort of technical and or have like unusual hoops that you have to jump through. And even though Johnny's game plan is, or like gameplay loop is like fairly strong, it can be a little unintuitive at first. It is kind of like set it and forget it kind of deal. You deal the card when you knock the opponent down, use Mistfinder from safe distance, trigger the guard crush, and then go for your mix-up. But if you don't have the muscle memory to throw the card and go for the Mistfinder, then you're gonna be missing big portion of the power level of the kit. Ooh, we actually get a sort of a bluff deal there. Going for the low finer 6P. Wait, the 6P actually goes towards the right, where Zikra was already crossing up. But that sort of a thing is bound to happen with Milia. She is very nimble, she has multiple air dashes, so you can easily find yourself on the wrong side, or perhaps from Milia's viewpoint, on the right side of the mix-up. The 6 heavy no cancel. Mistfinder is minus 15, but at this full screen distance, and especially with 0 hit stop, I guess it's like 3-4 frames of hit stop or something minuscule like that. You're not gonna get too much out of it, especially against a very neutral-oriented character like Johnny. And getting a nice combo there. A little bit of a juggle with the whatchamacallit, the Ensengas. Oh, that was definitely an opportunity to punish. But even point blank, Mistfinder is gonna be a little hard to punish if you don't take into account that it has basically no hit stop whatsoever. That means as soon as the Mistfinder lands on block, you have to be pressing buttons. There is no screen freeze. You don't have any training wheels. You have to be pressing the button immediately if you want to punish the opponent. Johnny. Mistfinder's coming in, the close slash, the demon's anti-air! Try to air flash over this. Throw a card, I think that's minus on block, but following up with the anti-air, and then slice those... What are those? Alcohol battles. Is it still the slicing of the alcohol battle in this one? The traditional Ensenga that Johnny does? I haven't actually looked at the animation, but that's sort of what the move was in the past. Johnny sort of like slicing through the bottle of booze in a huge explosion. Right, interesting. So Munch is gonna land on Asuka this time around, which is Zigra's main, technically. Or not technically, is literally Zigra's main. So Zigra should know a thing or two about this character, but what are we gonna fight with against it? Baiken, huh? Right, so Asuka for Munch is, you know, as you might imagine, being a very technical character, towards the bottom, and Baiken is still in the sort of mid tier. So far, based on just where the sort of the wheel has landed, Zigra has gotten the better luck of the draw, which makes a lot of sense because, like we talked about earlier, the sort of the highest peak of the curve is much higher
on the tier list than the munches. So that basically means, by the virtue of how probability works, Zigra should get a stronger character on average. But you know, anything can happen in a matchup like this, and the score is rather even so far. Goes for the DP. Great hand of cards here, especially for, so if you don't know how to play Asuka very well, you probably want to have as many of the non-standard cubes as possible, such as the Screamers. Munch is holding one of those at the moment, but the Mana Shield is gonna go pop, and now we're just trying to survive for a while. Great air dash out of the corner. Of course, if you're a little confused what buttons to press on this character, it's gonna take the full duration. Ooh, we're gonna go in with a strike throw, huh? And the hand is a little awkward. Munch is fumbling with the spells. I think has been discarding more spells than sort of casting so far. Oh, what a frame kill into a throw. And would you follow up? There's the reversal throw. Follows up with a little bit of a cross-up mix-up. But the throws, they keep coming. And then the meter burn. Burn even more. What you gonna do about this? Jump over it, of course, says Zigra. I've seen that move. I use that move quite a bit myself. Standard cubes in hand. Shooting for one more of those would be great, but we don't even need to. Jump in, just do your basic combo into 2D. It still works, even though Asuka's 2D is a little bit different. It's like a projectile that sort of cleaves half of the screen. It still works off like 2K 2D. And from a jump in mix-up you can, or rather jump in strike, you can just go into your universal Guilty Gear Stripe combo. Here comes another throw. The hand is completely useless, and I think Munch probably doesn't have the... Oh, never mind, we do have the capabilities to cast. But now the Mana Shield is gone. Maybe it does not matter. The only thing that it makes a difference in terms of is that Munch's defensive modifier is in the gutter. Look at this, that was a basic B&B combo, doing basically half of Munch's life. Mana Shield is back, and the back throw secures the win on Asuka. God damn. And evens it up 3-3. Alright, okay. Okay. That was basically a rushdown, Asuka, was it not? Just throws. Mix it up with the throws. Oop, wrong view. Right, this is where it gets interesting. 3 wins per player. May is gonna be next for Munch. And that would be pretty high up on the list. So this would be the first luck of the draw for Munch. And considering how even the matches have been so far, this should be a prime opportunity for Munch to take the lead for the first time. Where is Gotlu? Gotlu is in the actual gutter tier for Zigra. Oh, how have the turns stabled? Finally, Munch getting a little bit of luck there. But I mean, it could work the same way that it's been working so far. Maybe with the high tier role here for Munch, maybe they don't actually get anything done with that Mei. Although I kind of doubt that, because Mei's quite the standard character, and even if you don't know like anything but the Totsugeki RPS, like even like if you can input S Dolphin and you know your options like backdash, challenge with fast buttons, 5P, 2K, 6P, even if you know standard basic stuff like that, it can get pretty frustrating for the opponent, especially if they're rocking a character that they haven't played usually. Like, do you know what button you should be pressing on an unknown character if you take like S Dolphin on block and then want to catch Mei? And another thing here is that Gotluis is, I would say, not really a technical character, but very different kind of character. If you are not used to doing all sorts of whatchamacallit, half circles, and especially how you buffer the half circles, that's the real problem. I think like
some of the best Behemoth Typhoons that you'd like to use, especially on Oki, can be hidden behind like really hard inputs that would cause your Gotlurs to go airborne or something otherwise, unless you sort of hide those health circles behind a buffered like 5B, for example. Gonna power through that Wild Assault. Now Zikra, try to combo into the minigun. Close slash counter hit. Goes for the wrong Behemoth Typhoon. That does not combo, unfortunately. And now Munch's turn to come back. Crosses up with the mix-up. Is that gonna be enough? Needs one more. Zikra with 100. What could we do? We could burn it down, for instance. But do we know the input? That's the eternal question. Do we know the inputs for using that juice that we just have sitting in the storage? Ooh, and that 6B gets completely rocked by the 5 heavy from May. That's another thing. If you don't know a whole lot about May, was too far from that slide. Got caught by the minigun. Zikra so far has been performing the minigun as sort of like a poke. So canceling immediately out of it, you can see how little security gauge it actually utilizes. And then it returns back in like 4 seconds or something like that if you don't use any of the gauge. If you choose like, oh, that's a counter hit, misses the pickup. But Zikra very low health, and there it is again, the Buster. The Nutcracker, the Bone Cruncher, the 5 heavy. Always looking for that counter hit. And that'll put Munch on leading position for the first time in this set. As, you know, not the most surprising outcome considered the sort of the luck of the draw there. Slayer will be the character for Munch next. And Zikra. Let's see, the Slayer on the left column is in basically the 0 experience tier equivalent. And Zikra gets that man. I think it could be in the bag. Could be in the bag, but this is a one-time occurrence. It's gonna get removed from the pool. Zikra will be playing with their main against... Maybe this is actually not a great draw, because think about it. Zikra is gonna get their highest power level character, and you could, in a way, you could see it's gonna be wasted against one of the weaker characters of Munch. So, depending how you look at it, this could be a lucky thing, or this could be, from one point of view, slightly unlucky occurrence. Nevertheless, the Asuka is going to be removed from the pool after this, never making a return since. But I mean, if this was a win for Munch, it would be. You know, I'm gonna be honest. If Munch would take this, I would be surprised, but on the other hand, I wouldn't, because Guilty Gear Strive is a very certain kind of game. And Mr. Slayer is a certain kind of character that plays Guilty Gear Strive extremely well. Does all the things that you would like for a very annoying character to do. Does a lot of damage, is able to take a lot of damage. Doesn't necessarily have the best defense, but I mean, who needs defense when you can just explode the opponent with 2 hits? Now the hand is, other than the gate or the arpeggio that Zikra had there, was looking quite grim. No way Munch is gonna take it. There we go, with the 2P, checking them on the wake up. Do you have your media timings on point, sir? Apparently not. Starting with a DP. Okay, this combo is gonna do quite a lot of damage, even though it's basic APC into a pile bunker. Throw them, and now to the other side. Was a little bit late there, so Zikra recognized that their bunch out of that cross-up is probably gonna be a little minus. And now the wizard gameplay. The backdash able to avoid whatever Zikra was trying to do. That's a decent hit. Ooh, the mana shield. The mana shield is in peril. And there's the long reload. I think Zikra used tension there instead of the life. Because like using life here would be a little perilous. For if Slayer gets 1 hit, it could be over. That's a 5 heavy, and the close slash, that was guts. That was absolute heart and guts. The 2 heavy was coming. If that close slash doesn't get there in time for Zikra, it's all over immediately. Because that is gonna lead into very simple
hard-hitting combo for Slayer. Don't you love Guilty Gear Strive? Don't you love characters that play Strive really well? Oh boy. That was way closer than it needed to be, right? I mean, from one point of view, like it wasn't close at all, because like you just closed it 2-0, but I mean, did you see Zikra's life bar? Technically, it was like one hit away, both of those rounds. Then again, when is Slayer not one hit away from winning the round with that damage? Zato, where is Zato for Munch? So Zato for Munch. Yeah, as one might imagine, it is a very technical character. In the bottom tier, in the gutters, and Anji for Zigra is not a technical character. I mean, Anji's a strange character for sure, but not the most technical character. As long as you understand like how Gorilla Spin works, you can make him work in a very basic kind of way. So the luck after draw favors Zikra once again here. And that Zato, what can we do with that Zato? I think a lot of players who we've seen randoming into Zato in Bounty Hunters random select matches have tried to play the one body Zato. Kinda, you forget about the puppet, don't even try. It's too hard to control. Maybe at best you summon into a pose if you know the input, and then just try to pray. Try to do something. Utilize flight, utilize strike throw. Speaking of the throws, ooh, the throw is actually pretty good if the opponent tries to go for the reversal. On a 2K2D into decent corner carry. There we go. That's so smart. That's so freaking smart. I think Zikra could have probably tried to trigger the whatchamacallit, the Midare, the new follow-up from the spin to beat that throw, but using PRC when you trigger that auto guard is super important. Oh my god, we're just throwing it up. Munch, I think so far in this set, in this random select set, throw has been doing so much for Munch, right? And then again, you never see it coming. You never see it coming, right? What's the meaty timing? Don't miss those. I can see it, Munch going for the strike this time. And instead of trying to go for those close slashes, he's actually trying to favor the lows, which work really well in tandem with the throws usually. The only downside in Guilty Gear Strive is that the lows are not the most hard-hitting, but here's the thing. If you don't know the combos anyway, what's the point of hitting close slash? Like, if you can't derive value from that move, why not just go for a low instead? The metagame is like so different when you think about it. If you consider the fact that the players just like some of these characters, but the players don't know how to pilot them all that well, and that's the beautiful thing. That's kind of the sauce, the heart of the random select challenge. Oh, let's counter hit into a big one. Just to go into the low follow-up instead, which did not combo from that big. Ah, there we go with the punish. Ooh, wrong cancel. And tried to jump out, the executor nails them. Ooh, we're using the puppet. I guess Munch is not too bothered that the little gauge, the little eddy gauge is gone. And he comes back pretty fast anyway, utilizing the fireball function. Ah, but there we go, the conversion ability definitely favoring Zigra here. And as this is a fighting game of consistent conversions and big damage, that kind of stuff is really valuable for characters like Anji. Whereas, you know, on Zato, those conversions are gonna be hidden behind being able to pilot your little guy. So Jacko will be it for Munch. I think that is the main. That is the main. So Munch potentially looking to take this back here. I think I forgot to put a point on Zigra's account, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. This should be 5-4 for Zigra. And Dizzy is gonna be the character of choice for Zigra in this one. Where is that? So for Munch, it's the main. And for Zigra, it is, yeah, around the
not so confident tier. So again, this is complete reversal of what we had earlier when Munch got Slayer and Zikra got Asuka. But again, you could argue, if that Jacko main does not take down any of the like top 3 tiers, then some of the potential of that pick is sort of gonna be wasted. But I mean, it's still, as we're nearing towards the end of the set, we're getting to the championship rounds here, around the point where either player just needs a couple more wins. Getting a win at any means necessary is gonna be valuable, right? So Munch probably not gonna be too unhappy about this. Now, Dizzy though, what can we do with a Dizzy that we're not too confident with? We can throw fireballs, we can try to go for the chestnut. This move especially has great tracking and good counter-poking ability. The only downside is that the chestnut is kind of like it's more of a keep away tool. It's kind of like a space control tool in a sense, until you get close to the opponent where it transitions to a pressure tool. But at full screen, the chestnut probably not the primary thing that you use to get in on the opponent. Whereas things like the fishes, the blue fishes, or the ice spikes, or just general movement, even jump D for Dizzy, those are the kind of things that you maybe try to utilize to get your game started. Put on the buff. In traditional Munch fashion, ooh, slide into that really low profile 2K, the DLC 2K, able to bait the burst, but a little bit too far here, but we'll still be able to take it. Has the minion it has enough minion gauge for one more attack command, holding Zigra in place, saying no buttons will be pressed today, unfortunately. But again, not surprising outcome. Now, the mains have been removed from the pool. What do we have left? Looking like Munch is gonna go in with Potemkin. Which... where is that character? It's another bottom tier character for Munch. And what are we gonna have from the opponent? Zigra with Bedman. If I took a guess, that's probably gonna be not too high up on the power tiers. Let's see. It's actually like it's not in the most bottom tier, but certainly not in the confident zone. Now, again, we could refer to how intuitive these characters are to play. Potemkin, even though you are a grappler, Potemkin is a very special kind of grappler. You get a lot of... how should we put this? We get a lot of... we get a lot of, like, premium help that a lot of sort of, like, grapplers are not gonna get in a lot of fighting games. Potemkin is a character with surprisingly strong neutral. And because of the nature of how, sort of, like, how zoomed in the game of Strive is, and how easy it is to close in on the opponent, like, Potemkin is not necessarily the most zonable grappler out there for sure. But so far, oh, get trapped here. This is gonna somewhat equalize the situation. Bedman, though, is quite the hard, or quite the heavy defensive modifier character. So not even taking half a life out of that buster that some other characters would. And then we get zoned by the spikes. Yeah, Bedman has the ability to try to sort of assume a little bit of a defensive perimeter with those spikes. And sort of to compensate that, the deja vu, or rather the error that you get from that spike is, I think, the weakest, and it's the hardest one to try to follow up if you want to try to engage the opponent. You would much rather have the bomb head or the flames. But of course, to get those errors, you would have to get one of the more unsafe specials out, right? Because, like, you can't just whip malfunction full screen, right? You can't just whip, like, Beyblade full screen. That's gonna get you punished. The install is activated, but what can we do with it? Oh, reversal of sorts. I mean, that's very ambitious. Unless you know the setup that you can utilize to get the Potemkin Buster between those Gigantor hits, I think it's gonna be a difficult errand, a difficult thing to achieve. Oh, we're dropping, and that's gonna be good. It's only a couple of Potemkin Busters away, and in the modern patches, because that Potemkin Buster becomes armored on frame, what is it? Is it like 4 or is it 5? I forgot. Nevertheless, it does have armor, and it's a great feature for sure. Potemkin players love that, and everybody else hates it. Good anti-air into a Beyblade conversion. That's gonna give an error. However, your error goes down the drain for the back throw incident. Potemkin has that Nagoriyuki massive throw range after all, the grappler throw range, if you will. Tapped with the 5D, but we didn't have the meter to follow it up. Pressuring in the corner, they should be good. No! Wait! Breaks out of the hammer. The hammerfall break happens so fast. Ha! But not fast enough, because Zigra able to match through that one. Here comes the follow-up as well. Oh, that's gonna be a punish. No Buster. Goes for a 2K instead. So losing the premium opportunity. And here comes the error. Or wait, where did the error go? YRC gets baited. One more hit. OTG ain't gonna be enough, but the close slash will. That means Zigra will take leading position once again as we're nearing towards the final of this first random select match. God, it's been a chess match back and forth. Now Munch needs something good. Sol, is the punching man good enough? Tell me, where is Sol? Where is Mr. Bad Guy? Mr. Bad Guy ain't very high. That is unfortunate. Let's see what Zigra gonna get. Zato, a technical one. Where is that? I would guess bottom, but who knows? Let's see. Zato is. Wait, didn't Zigra get Zato already? Or was it? No, it was Munch, right? It was Munch, right? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was Munch. Which Munch? It's a character that has occurred in this set, but not for Zigra. Well, yeah, that's gonna be rather low, and Sol was, I mean, rather low as well. So it is a low power tier matchup here, but it has to be done. Then again, if I had to put money on, you know, random players having random characters that they may not know all too well, I would probably go all in on Sol Bad Guy. Like, this is a very standard gorilla character. Very, very strong special moves. Gunflame, Bandit Revolver, Bandit Bringer. All of those are great at just forcing your way in. Even if you're minus after some of those, for example, you Bandit Bringer, ooh, that was a great snipe of the puppet. Although, one has to wonder, how much value is there for sniping the puppet? Can Zigra even utilize that? Oh, that's gonna be punished though. Using the Bandit as kind of an escape cut mid-screen. Oh, in any, I mean, against the Zato main, driving yourself into that oppose would have been instant death. That is one of the hardest hitting starters that you could get as Zato. Unfortunately, the 2 heavy was there a little late for Zigra. Munch is definitely trying to gorilla it up, gets out of the corner, that's a punish. 2K, ooh, drops the big punish without the puppet. It's a little hard, unsummons. But at the very worst time, 6 heavy hits, sorry, 6S hits, 6S hits, no hit confirmed. What do we even go after that in the modern batch? I think Bandit Revolver should work still, right? With anti-air, equal amount of life, equal amount of resources, but what can we use that on? So far, the interceptions have been from the air, and there's the 6P! And even if you don't know the combo, the RC is gonna give you at least a little bit of value. Now Munch, potentially 1 or 2 invite hells away from being knocked out of this set. Zigra is playing it very safe. Come at me. Ooh, misses the 6S! And now, the puppet is out! And there it is, the tap on the 5D! Covers it with the what is it called? The wall, the oppose. basically making sure that if you are trying to DP into this one, you're gonna be DPing into the oppose. I think that's how it works, right? Because like, that's how it gotta work. Otherwise, like, what the hell is this character? If even your best summon move can't absorb some hits. But yeah, that would be a 7-5 win for Munch here for this random select match. Was quite the chess match, back and forth up until like 5-5, and then it was still pretty even after that point. So next one, we're gonna continue with the same vibes, but only one player is gonna be randoming for this one. So Miku, one of our debut players of the week. Let me ask Miku if it's okay to paste the randoms to same position. Sorry, it's gonna take a little bit of preparation here for these random select matches. Who do we have in the lobby? We do have Milk Guzzler already. I think I saw. Miku is in the lobby as well. But let's see, what is the favorite sort of direction that Miku wants to receive the information pertaining to what character they're gonna be playing next? I mean, we could do the role already, right? Let's tune into Miku's wheel. It's actually, yeah, let's do a couple of magic tricks here. So put, there we go. Get Miku's tears. And we could do Miku's random as well already. Did we actually get information from Miku as per if they want to go for the duplicates or non-duplicates version of the random? I think all of the players chose to do no duplicates, right? Okay, non-duplicates. Okay. So that means characters are gonna be removed from from Miku's pool as they are randomed into. No duplicates. Elfeld is the first one. Elfeld is, where is she? She is pretty high up there. So looking at this power tier, I would say Miku is, on average, a little bit more confident than the previous random players in the previous set. Lots of characters towards the top and a very decent amount of characters on the mid portion of the tier list as well. We're starting with a pretty decent pick here. Also, Milk Guzzler, it's not only Miku who's doing their debut tonight, it is Guzzler as well, or Mr. Milk. I'm not sure what Milk Guzzler wants to actually be called. 2K to call out that grenade. Usually, to anti-air the grenade, you would have to have heart rate here. Milk Guzzler not quite ready to burst here, and out the corner pressure. 6 heavy, no cancel here. Gonna be super minus, but Miku was very far away from the opponent, so hard to catch. Speaking of catching, beware the bomb. Just waits for it to go off. No burst yet. All right, I guess third burst bait, fourth burst bait. There it is, finally getting the burst out. But that cost a lot of momentum for Miku. Good presence of mind there, waiting for the little guy to activate, which would have been a combo breaker or potential combo starter. Tried to be as precise as possible against the hammer, but in the end, we'll be able to power through all of that. And now, Miku working with a full burst bar as well. Oh, Elfeld is a character who, once you get in with your normals, you can try to initiate the Rec RPS, which I think so far Miku hasn't gone for that much. Has been concentrating more on, ooh, activating the little guy here. Combo breaker, as they say in one of the oldest fighting game franchises of fighting game history. Go through the wall with your insurance. 2K, the insurance is still there! That's the starter! And it's gonna be a kill! Even though that was a little bit of a drop from Miku, doesn't matter. We get an accidental side switch and then a big combo. Close slash, 6 heavy, we still got it. Alright, what's next? It's surprising, like, a lot of the bottom tier characters here from Miku are a lot of the standard characters, actually. So Leo is gonna be the next one. I think I saw Leo, yeah. Leo is on the bottom side. And that's kind of interesting. Like if you look at what kind of characters Miku has at the top, many of these are like super technicals, like Jacko, Asuka, Dizzy, characters like that. So definitely a player who is not afraid of the strangeness, the sauce. And I like this kind of dichotomy between different kinds of players, because like everybody knows the Shoto character players, such as like myself, who is like, yeah, I don't want to stay in the lab for like set play for very long. I just want to know like my best standard combos, and then I want to fight with the fundamentals. I want to do the neutral. That's the kind of stuff that I want to be labbing instead of like setups and single player. And then you have the players who are like, yeah, I want to do the fancy stuff. I wanna push my turn. I wanna do the grimiest things. That was a good 6P, reacting to the fishing pole. And now, crazy proposition there. Jump 2K against the back turn stance of Leo. You might just eat a back turn P if you try to challenge it. Ooh, there we go. Miku was looking for that burst bait so many times. The hammer is still coming, right? Yep. Good presence of mind. Ends up completely whiffing at the end there, or in the end there. Tries to align with Milk Guzzler. Still will be able to break out of the corner. The 6P completely misses. And now, with the slowed down frames, we have the Afro installed. And lit as well. That's the value of it. 5K trade would otherwise be good, but Milk Guzzler slowly running out of like, missing with the 6 heavy as well. That's a great peril for you are quite minus there. Whipping a heavy button like that. So 2 up is Hatsune Miku. What's it gonna be next? Oh, it's gonna be one of those technical characters, yeah? Dizzy. I'm that guy tier. Yeah, it's just so many technical characters up there. It's like likes of Ino as well. You've got Bedman, Bridget, Testament. Yeah, there's a lot of set play oriented and more difficult to pilot kind of characters at the top end of Hatsune Miku's tier list.
Duel 1.
You gotta really take your hat off for that kind of stuff. Oh no, punish there. Was that safe actually? The close slash 7 frame startup. Apparently not enough to punish the mix. Still holding up the corner with the use of those meteors, and the little guy as well. This could be opportunity to throw more items. The item is not the one that you were looking for. Miku ain't gonna pick that up either, but usually when you try to produce an item, you hope that it would at least produce you some sort of value, such as what Milk Guzzler is gonna get there. The Horde is gonna keep them up, and again, that reaction 6P against the fishing pole. Milk Guzzler has the advantage in terms of life here. Afro is installed as well, so gotta be really careful. Look at that jump knee from downtown. That was from so freaking far away. That jump knee would have not connected unless the Afro was installed. The bananas aren't gonna be very useful here. Miku is just gonna skip it a hop past those. With a chestnut. Slightly whiffing. Usually the chestnut is one of the go-to. Once again, the 6P works out, and that was against 6 heavy, I think. Mix it up, getting exploded by your own bomb back. Under! No way! Miku misses the punish there. I think went a little too early. Now the full screen check. Ice Pillar. Gotta be always careful when you're trying to do something full screen against Dizzy. Might be using that Ice Pillar. Can also turn the ground into physics-related puzzle gaming. Ooh, got them with the raw blue Wild Assault. Hammer ain't gonna be doing much here. Maybe sort of like a bluffing kind of a tool, holding potentially Miku in place, knowing the power of that hammer. Half screen 2D, the big sweep has the reach for sure. Ooh, charged up the full 6 heavy, gets hit but no pickup. Activating Wings of Light. Okay, we're playing fancy here. That's gonna be a punish this time. This time the close slash works out. I think should be a kill. No, unless we don't go into the super. 6P no cancel. I'm not even sure if Faust can cancel that. I'm gonna go down again with these tricky characters. Another one from Miku. 3-0 in this random showdown. What's it gonna be next? I'm so scared of Miku's tier spread here. It's like even the worst characters are probably some of the easiest to pilot ones. And that's a really great prospect, is it not? Johnny, dropping a lot of combos here in the middle of the pack. So how does Johnny usually fare against Faust though? You do have your Mistfinder that can prevent them from throwing items if they try to do so.
Duel 1.
But of course on Faust's side you do have your Crawl as well, which I think should be able to go under a lot of the primary pokes that Johnny might want to do. The K Mistfinder, Bar Slash, 5 heavy maybe? I forgot how close to the ground that hitbox is close to. Here comes the Vault Deal, which is gonna be minus there. Unless you combine the Vault Deal with PRC, which is usually the neutral skip of choice. Nice, a little bit of a combo up there, straight into the 5 heavy, gets the follow-up as well. Oh, the hammer, everything is going in the way of Milk Guzzler until the YRC got baited. Throw the card? Yeah, just going under. A little bit of crawling here and there. You are minus. I press 2K and then teleport behind you. That's gonna be a punish. Close slash goes for the heart bait. But Milk Guzzler has not been biting on those baits until it's basically the last moment. That's kind of like a meta adjustment that if you notice that your opponent is baiting a lot, you might just sort of switch to a completely different kind of strategy. You don't necessarily, like, if you know that your opponent baits a lot, you might actually want to keep the full burst gauge instead of just using it for Wild Assault, because it might provide you with so much value. If your opponent is, like, RCing their combos in unnecessary places, or dropping their close slash starters or stuff like that, has to RC, no, goes for the heart bait again! Value! Yo! Is that if Milk Guzzler is thinking like this, okay, I can do unsafe things because you will bait after close slash, then I can keep sending it. Stuff like, you know, unsafe angle mixes. Ooh, another unsafe one, goes for a super this time. I mean, this is burst safe damage. And I mean, Milk Guzzler didn't even have the burst here anymore, so doesn't matter. Get the punish, get the round, 1-1. Now, no burst baits are gonna happen because there is no burst gauge on basically either one of these players. I mean, Milk Guzzler would get there with a couple of wall sticks, but let's see how it's gonna go. Ooh, dealing into a very high angle there, maybe expecting that the opponent would jump backwards. 6 heavy, yep, again, the reaction to that fishing pole. Even if you don't necessarily have a follow-up from that full screen distance, this time there's gonna be an RC. Ooh, but the Mistfighter cancel gets there before Mix goes active. Very interesting. 6B works out. Yep, can't interact with this hammer. Holding in the corner, the very high altitude jump slash preventing Milk Guzzler from throwing the item. Or was that a back throw? Trying to go point the block! Oh my god! Mutual assured destruction! Not sure who that is gonna favor. Missing the jumping completely. The little guy is on board. Yep, Milk, that's kind of smart. Moving backwards in order to trigger the little guy. This time, the mix goes active faster than whatever Miku was trying to cancel into. Honestly, I kind of missed it. I blinked and I missed it what the cancel was. But this time, the mix will get there before the opponent's button. And Milk Guzzler, as they say, as we say in the industry, is on the board. So Gold Louis it is for Miku on the next one. Where is that man? Yeah, is around... Yeah, dropping combos there around the middle. Not in the not in the strongest tier, but not in the weakest tier either. It's actually surprisingly hard to utilize the fact that like a lot of your single hits are gonna be hitting super hard on Gold Louis. Or can you even say about that? Can you even say that about Gold Louis? Because like you have your Potemkin archetypes who just do like 1/5 of your opponent's life bar for doing one normal. But Gold Louis is, I think, not really that kind of character per se. Gold Louis relies on getting damage from Behemoth Typhoons for the most part, right? And the Behemoth Typhoons are hidden behind those execution checks, if you will. Not the hardest ones, but, you know, execution checks nonetheless. Goes for the burst, trying to escape the corner. Won't be able to do so. 100 meter, what are we gonna use that for? Still, setting the drone. I think that was, yeah, that was a low security gauge drone, so won't be able to follow it all the way to the corner. Missing the Behemoth, uh-oh. Still has the life advantage, trying to hold down the corner. Oh, that was, of course you would. You see Afro installed, immediately go for the jump D, no matter the situation, because it's probably gonna hit. The Afro extend your crouching, your standing hitbox so much. Respecting the bomb, go for the 6B, return it with kindness. Careful with that banana peel. Yeah, Guzzler is kind of like, how am I gonna get this over this banana peel? And something, we are number one. Ooh, the 2K actually caught the mix cancel. That's been happening so many times, like the hitbox, or rather the hurtbox of mix has to not be like, not really one of the best for sure. I guess you're usually like, if you're trying to sort of cancel stuff, 2B actually called out the round start White Wild Assault. That's usually a huge RPS victory for the character who just kind of would like to hold you still, or rather zone you away. And of course, a character archetype like Gold Louis, you probably usually want to try to zone them, because even if you don't do like the biggest of your damage from full screen either, the more important point is to reduce your opponent's ability to play the game. And Faust can still poke at you from really like further distance, or try to gamble with good items. Speaking of the good items, you're holding them still, has the RC, goes for a little bit of mix up, another mix, spending it all. It makes sense. Miku is at their super lowest point of health. Oh, it still hits! OPG is not enough! Drill it with the jump 2K, but minus frames on landing. The security drone makes sure that there is no shenanigans from the Faust side. Counter hit! There's the burst! But we're too far! We're Gold Louis! Here's the floaty air dash! Smartly, Miku did abort that minigun sequence there in order to not get punished, and there we go, securing the win. That was a really close one. Damn. So Miku moves up 4 points. Couldn't be in any other way. And if Milk Guzzler was able to get that one, it would have been super close as well. But now the pace of the match is gonna change a little bit because Miku has been able to build such a, not the biggest amount of momentum, but a decent amount of momentum so far. And it's a completely different kind of deal fighting from like 4-3 position or even 4-4 position compared to 4-1 position. That kind of stuff can make you second guess yourself. And the random here was Bridget for Miku, who I think I remember being very high on the list. Yeah. In the second power tier, not the highest, but relatively high. And usually when a randoming player is matched against a character locked player, we usually try to sort of, we try to, of course you can't make stuff like this work every single time, but we try to sort of match the character locked player based on where the majority of the randoming players' characters are. But sometimes it's a little hard to know, and you can only get so much info from, you know, services like Puddle Farm when you're trying to, you know, gauge the abilities of these players. So some of these matches are inevitably like wildcard matches for sure. But ooh, took the burst there! The persistency of Miku's to bait it! Finally paying off here big time. That burst ain't gonna come back anytime soon. With the jump in, we set up the yo-yo. Yep, this is the set play of Bridget's. And I bet, because like a lot of these characters for Miku are set play oriented characters, and a lot of them are in the top tier brackets as well. You bet your ass that Miku has the basic set play down pretty well. Ooh, nice 2K. Miku tried to go very high and over. Goes for it again. Very high and over. It's very rare. I actually haven't seen that type of mix-up very often from Bridget players, utilizing the sort of the high angle that you can nowadays get with your... Like, that's one of the new changes that Bridget got in some of the recent patches, right? If I'm not mistaken, because I haven't seen mix-ups like that very often. Usually it's just your straight up go for high-low, right? The most standard mix-up set play that you could ever imagine. Nagori Yuki is the next random for Miku. Where is that guy? It's not the most comfortable tier, but gotta say, I don't think it's like Miku just completely like, it's like he just does not have a bottom tier in this tier list. That's really scary. Man. I was talking about some of the like scary features of no, what was it? Wait, it was the scary feature of Miku's tier list. Yeah, looking at that tier list, it's like, gosh, you do play a lot of characters in this video game. Getting potentially a little bit choppy. Skipping a hop to the other side, using the Beyblade, adding to the close slash, biggest possible hit. That's gonna be punished. Do we know the punish? Gets a far slash instead of close slash, but still works out. The blood is kind of on the precipice. But in this kind of situation, when you are holding the opponent in the corner, high blood is actually not too bad. It does not allow you to go for those like forceful mix-up kind of situations where you just Beyblade in or clone Fukyo and make the opponent guess, but it will allow you to extend the range of especially your heavy normals, the 5 heavy especially, so that it's almost impossible for your opponent to try to contest you. Goes for a hard bait again. Far slash into nothing. There is a horn in the background, right? Which, yep, Guzzler is gonna pick up. There's a pop. Maybe that's a little bit of a saving grace that the horn actually is gonna break Miku out of the blood pop. So they're not gonna suffer the biggest close slash starter in the world. Lots of blood being burned here. That's a good burst! But Miku has a burst as well. Are they gonna go for it? Yo! Burst the farm! For the baseball bat! I mean, of course you would, because you were 0 hit points already, so it costs zilch. It doesn't cost anything. It would usually take you to 0 health in the modern patches, right? But might as well. It is an invulnerable reversal, right? I'm not mistaken in that regard, right? I'm pretty sure. And going into set point territory with Baiken, and Baiken is, as you might know, is also one of those set play kind of characters, so you bet your ass it's gonna be pretty high up on Miku's tier list. Up there in the second tier. It's time to tether it up and go in for the highs, lows, to sides, or sides, left and right, strikes and throws, all of, like, basically any kind of mix-up that you could ever imagine is potentially available for Baiken. In that sense, Baiken is kind of Guilty Gear Strive's Dizzy. Because Dizzy used to be that character in the old games where she would have just infinite amount of setups, and Baiken kind of has that kind of feature as well. Even though, like, you usually tend to see, ooh, close slash into, that's a punish, not a counter hit, but still a pretty good starter. 10-ton hammer, or 100-ton hammer is gonna prevent Miku from doing that. Again, great anti-air as well. What can we do? Can we keep the opponent in the corner? Mutual destruction, but Guzzler can definitely afford that. Being so high up on life, so ahead on that life lead. With punishing that 6P with a 6P, Baiken certainly has the more limited range out of these two characters when it comes to that. I think Baiken's 6P maybe a little bit more oriented for anti-airs rather than footsies on the ground. I think he hits more vertical than horizontal. Correct me if I'm wrong. That was actually a good trajectory. Comboing into the hammer. And what next? Backwards moving trajectory, tries to keep the Baiken away. It's another character that you want to try to zone as much as possible, even though Baiken is not really. Oh, jumps in. However, here comes the combo breaker. 6P. The mix misses. But we are blasted off the press 2S there. This is a great win for the Milk Guzzler. This was one of the higher tier characters for Miku after all. So, like, if you want to threaten with a set win, you gotta start taking those W's right now. Right now. And that's exactly what Guzzler is gonna do here. Oh, that man. Literally that man. Asuka. I think was also, yep. Whew. Oh boy, it's getting a little hot in here. Miku says that I've got the skills to pilot that guy, even that man. And now, Milk Guzzler's life on the line. Can we overcome the wizard? Have we even seen this matchup on Bounty Hunters too many times? I don't exactly know how this goes. What are like Faust's capabilities for poking into the standard cubes? That's usually the question. Switches to test case 2? Is this? Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is test case 2. So slightly non-traditional choice here. I mean, those big pokes will surely reach the wizard. No meter to cancel here. The close slash won't get a punish. The frame trap into too heavy will though. This hand is completely unusable, but lots of tension. We have potentially ability to shuffle here. We could go into the mulligan super, or wait, how did Miku get a new hand here? Was he holding the bookmark spell? I blinked and I missed it. Right, starting with the standard hand, immediately into the DP spell. Couple of screamers as well. Great ability to hold down the fort or control the screen. Guard crush. Still gonna be holding on to those. Going into test case 2 once again. The test case of the mix-ups. Ooh, cool combo. That's That's a lot of corner carry. I haven't seen many Asuka players go for that routing very often, but that seems kind of cool. If you're hurting on resources, teleport to the other side, 6p, immediate burst from Miku. Life lead is in. Oh, got a little hard hand to work with here. Miku needs the mana, or maybe doesn't. Go in with the normals, tap them with the 5D because they're low enough, and lo and behold, that's gonna be the set. I was just completely glued to Miku's hand and being like, that hand ain't good. That hand looks kind of spooky, especially since Miku is so low on mana. Yet, it's kind of the spice of the random select matches. It's like, go in, do the Guilty Gear Strive thing, start with the close slash, do strike throw. And that's gonna be the storyline for that random select match. Moving on to yeah, we have one more. Damn, we really had all of these lined up, didn't we? So I think we have both of the players ready to go already. Yeah, we have Spooky and Jayce already here. Okay, so let's move on to the rolling interface for Spooky. One more random match coming up. Let's fix the interface, get the right chart in there. Okay, I think this is the one. And let the rolling commence. So Spooky has been playing random select a lot for the past like 4 or 5 months, I think. At this point, I should remember what Spooky's, character tier list looks like, but honestly, we go through so many random select matches that it's a little hard to remember like who has what on their tier list and where. Especially since these kind of things are kind of fluid as well. Let's see where the Happy Chaos is. The Happy Chaos is in the solid tier. So let's see, the names are actually gonna be flipped. So Jayce is in the right corner with the Testament, with that fancy color, starting with the bar slash and teleporting in, no sending crows. We're not gonna get those curses. We're gonna go in guns blazing against the gunman himself. And that does make sense against a character that can zone you so much, or rather, if they get one hit in, you're gonna be in the mix-up city. And also a character that is so defensively weak in sort of. You probably want to be a little more aggressive even on a character such as Testament. So you're probably going to see those, knockdowns into possession a little bit more. Let's see how we're going to play this one. Send in the crow, send it to the marker though. This could be a super jumped over. Let's see. Oh, chooses to go for super. This will trade though. No, in fact, it will just lose straight up. Because the girls are not going to go anywhere, even if you attack Testament. As long as Nostrovia is out, there is no escaping, no disappearing of those Sakubai. And Jayce cleaving it up. That is a little bit of a knowledge check. If you never played against Testament, or if you never lapped against that super in particular, to know that you can always jump over it unless the Testament player is holding you down with a, with a stain pop. And the stain pop is, especially in the corner, one of the few. Oh, 6 heavy, cleaves the air. Don't you dare jump against a zoner. And 5 heavy, even though that is not necessarily a dedicated anti-air, very, like, a decent amount of disjoint there. And we'll be able to work with that as a makeshift anti-air. All right, next up. Looking like a Milia. And where the Milia be? Milia be decently high up there. So characters like Emilia are traditionally kinda hard bit to swallow for archetypes such as Testament, right? Because the starting sort of starting position of your game plan is usually a very zoning oriented, but these speedster characters, they can get in on you really fast, and they usually have extra angles to approach from as well, having multiple air options, both Milia and Chip. Into the Lust Shaker, that's usually minus, I think, but no challenge there. Into, yeah. Gonna be a clean rushdown round for Spooky with that Milia. Starting with a 2D, very long-ranging 2D at that. And that is usually one of the premium starters of your win condition. I think both throw and 2D are the normals that allow you to get the meaty heavy disc, which is kind of like the holy grail of time to mix them up safely as well. But just as fast as Spooky was able to get the round earlier, Jayce just cleaving up, getting combo after combo, locking the opponent in the corner, teleport to the other side. It's one of the great features of Testament. If you have the marker on the field, you could at any moment use the possession and teleport to it. Especially great way to get out of the corner or to impose an RPS kind of situation where your opponent has to— whoa! That 2 heavy working as an anti-air there! Against what? Another one? 2 heavy is a great starter as well. Breaking with an Arbiter sign, and now we have so much tension. 6 heavy into another Arbiter sign. Slow down frames, however, Spooky able to get out of there. And being really tricky with those momentum switches. Another 2 heavy. Wow. That's, of course, a very far-reaching move for Testament with a lot of, I think with a lot of active frames as well. Should be one of the more active moves that Testament has in their kit. And it just ended up working out. I mean, if you think your opponent will approach, usually on the ground though, if you think your opponent will approach on the ground, you could put a big stop sign 2 heavy in there. But what I was surprised about, how consistently Jayce was able to anti-air with that button. All right, another interesting matchup. So this will be, wait, I forgot to check where Spooky has.
Duel 1.
Quick check. Where's the bridge? It is in the mid tier. Okay. So not the strongest pick, but not the weakest pick either. Arbiter high, however, that's I think a little late as a meaty. Spooky smartly does not commit, straight into the heavy fireball. Gets clipped by it momentarily, but no conversion from Jayce. Would the girls, I think they activate fast enough. Will be holding down the forts. Even if Spooky was able to block that, the last hit of the Nostrovia always applies the curse as well. So you usually get pretty good follow-up afterwards. In addition to the massive amount of massive amount of plus frames that you get if the opponent actually— oh, that was a very early throw. And will get punished for their troubles as Spooky slides into that throw whip and gets a big counter hit. Starting with the 6P, no air zone allowed. Until Jayce got put in the corner. This is a great place for Testament. Again, sending the crow on a homing marker. I think if the opponent tries to jump immediately, one way you could prevent them from doing so is holding the crow input and sending a neutral crow instead, which is a little bit better for— oh, I see what you did there, Jayce. I see that 5k into Calamity 1. You rogue. Marker is on point. Ooh, and straight into the heavy fireball. However, no pickup there. Life situation is quite even. Roger Super from too far away will be able to simply jump over, and then the heavy fireball. The heavy fireball is like— I feel like that button where if you don't know what to do on Testament, the upwards fireball is always a pretty decent way of covering the ground. Yeah. However, there's the whiff punish. For characters such as like Bridget, Sin, characters like that who can cleave the screen from very far away, against those kind of characters, it can be a little dangerous to use those heavy up fireballs. Oh, we got them again! However, no pickup. You gotta be ready to hit confirm after all. And then into loop-the-loop. This one take the wall, hard knockdown as well. Can we? I think we should be able to mix it up because Calamity 1 is such a slow reversal super. There we go again. Was trying to get it. Go for a super right away. And non-scaled damage of the super. Even though it's not really the hardest hitting super in the game by any means, Testament is also not the highest defense modifier character in the game either. And the full super damage plus wall break, which is like, I think, something like 50 damage unscaled usually, right? Unsure about that, but it's a very decent amount of damage. Dizzy is the random for Spooky in the next one, which is in the dumpster tier, unfortunately. Alone in that bottom tier, Dizzy and Faust. The lore matchup, the Guardian of Dizzy in the past. Should be probably an opportunity for Jayce to double it up or triple it up and get a decent lead on Spooky here early into this set. Setting the Arbiters. Ooh, the Arbiter low is a little early, I reckon. Active frames had already ended. Yo, air dash into a throw. It's kind of sick when players are actually committing into that air dash and still looking for the throw. Alright, that was an important hit. We'll be able to dispel the curse that Jayce had going on there. Sliding to the other side, sending the Arbiter sign. Trying to control the space in case Spooky tries to jump in. That's gonna whiff completely. But we had, oh, hit by the Michael, so that's a big. We'll be able to combo the heavy mic into the S mic and another mic. Michael's left, Michael's right. We got the daughter with Mike as well. With Unica 214S. Everybody gets a Michael nowadays. In the Kisk family, I guess. Slash starter. Ooh, but goes with this S Michael sword, which is, I think, a little too fast for that occasion. I think that would have been for a non-counter hit conversion. Reversal will work out. Get a little breathing room here. Let's see if we set it up here. Ooh, missed the input on something, I reckon. 6 heavy hits. Ooh, that actually comboed into fireball still. From that distance? Crazy. The finishing Michael sword doesn't have a time to come out. Now send the girls. What's your option here, Spooky? Just keeps backdashing, scrolling the screen so that the Succubi never actually get there. That is definitely one way to deal with it. Evening it up 2-2. With a character that was supposed to be at the very end of the power tier list. This is exactly... This is a showcase, the best showcase for how it's not always gonna work out the way that you think. These power tiers are just for fun little reference, but the real outcome might work out completely different. ABBA is the name of the game for Spooky here this time around. The extremely offense-oriented character is where? In the confident tier. Okay. Now, I feel like Testament is a great character against archetypes such as her. Because you basically start by already doing, at the start of the round, you're already doing the kind of thing that is annoying for her to deal with. And then you can kind of double it up with, like, if you do get the curse, then you can maybe go into the strike throw stuff. But now, look at the install on. Still 5 good seconds to go, and that's a counter hit. You're just gonna cash out, yeah. That's a great decision. No hard combos. Realizing that I have 1, 2, 3 extra hits from that cash out super. Now, if you were to go for that cash out super when you don't have the kill yet, that would be a huge mistake. However, Spooky recognized it very early into that hit that there was no need to do anything more difficult than that. And it's looking very tough here, Spooky, once again. Nice and tight, ready to rush it down. Keeper of the Key would be an option if we get back to neutral, but it's definitely in Jayce's best interest. Wait, would Keeper of the Key work here? No, we'll actually, wait, what? What was the hit there? Was the 6 heavy that got Spooky? Nice burst bait. However, the pop, and that's gonna be a throw for Jayce. I wonder if Abba can even jump over this. Tries to, but like, you don't really have like, you can't air dash, right? That's the usual best thing that you can do. Zero Jelly, keeper of the key. That's not gonna provide too many plus frames. It's usually like a, I'm begging, I'm praying that I get the last hit here with this super. But if you don't, it's kind of like that meter is gonna be gone. No worries, we're just gonna push it up with the normal version ABBA. Moving Spooky to a leading position, 3-2 here. Whoops, pressing all the wrong buttons. But that's exactly the kind of character ABBA is supposed to be. You get to you get one good install, and it's go time. Chip is the next character here, which I think I've seen. Yeah, we've seen Spooky play that character quite a bit. And that is another great prospective character against a character like Testament here. Speedster, lots of air options. Although, yeah, I guess the triple jump is a little weaker against up fireballs than maybe Milia stuff. The session in place will get clipped by the full screen clone. There we go, with the up fireballs once again. When in doubt, throw a heavy Grave Reaper. And if it sinks, oh baby, it's gonna hurt a lot. Go to the other side. However, that position is gonna move Jayce right close to the corner. Doesn't matter. Look at the spacing. I think if Spooky went for a DP, that's a disjoint distance. That DP would have not worked out. So I think that was a conscious choice for Testament for basically saying, like, if you do anything here, you will die. Unless maybe if you backdash. Backdash would have probably been okay. Now, this super can't take wall breaks. So this will move back to the mid screen. Let's see what we can work with that. No, just disengages, but then tries to engage straight into the heavy fireball. Misses the midi. I think that's a punish still. Yeah, there's a little bit of landing recovery there from the Genrozan, meaning Jayce is gonna even it up. 3-3. Yeah, a series of unfortunate hits there. But Chip is really that kind of character. You take a couple of unfortunate hits and it's next round really fast. Kai, the Footsies man himself, is the next one. In the slightly strong tier. Okay. And it's a very interesting matchup against Testament as well. Having two characters with diverse fireballs. Not only do you have the ground fireball for Kai, but you can throw them in the air as well. So technically, you could put yourself in a position where Arbiter signs don't really do that much. I haven't seen this matchup played very often, but I imagine it's a very interesting one if you like playing neutral. With the instant air, that was a very high up in the air jump heavy. And with the reversal, Calamity one. Okay, the burst gets rid of the curse. Has to spend the RC here if you want to continue uninterrupted for that flip kick without the... Oh, again! Misses the perfect reversal there. But I think Spooky was waiting anyway. It's a very common misinput for Testament players, I feel like. Even yours truly has done that quite a bit in their time. Ooh, it's a great crow, however, goes a little bit too close. No meat to be seen. And now... Jayce will have to try to work their way out of the corner somehow. The good news is that Spooky spent all of their resources, but the bad news is that you just burst into a bait, and that's through the wall. Massive, massive life advantage for Spooky. I think this far slash recovers in time. Yep, just barely. But it will still put Spooky in a rather, precarious position. Ooh, the crow whiffs again. The crow RPS. I always tell this how Testament's neutral, Testament pressure, Testament's everything is so interactable. It's like Testament has to know what kind of angle you're gonna take. And if you wanted to close that angle with Crow, you needed to do the charge Crow. You needed to send to the neutral, like horizontal line Crow to prevent Kai from instant air dashing in, right? But then on the other hand, if you use the charge Crow, then they could approach you on the ground. So it's like you can't have everything. Venom though, yeah, Venom being a slightly newer DLC character, understandably not the strongest out of Spooky's toolkit. I would definitely love to see this matchup being played on FT7 by, by super strong players. I would love to see more Venom in general. Venom is in an interesting position where, like, he feels fine, but he is a very technical character. Probably one of the more, like, definitely in the same category of technicality as, like, Asuka, Happy Gate. Wait! There was room to reversal here? And especially since Calamity 1 locks you in position that Dark Angel was just completely nullified, huh? But the interception in the air, jump slash, strike them down. And threaten with a very decent set lead here. The jump D. Wait, is that jump D, or I forgot if that's Venom's jump D or if that's just a Mad Struggle special nowadays. I think they took Mad Struggle out and that's just his jump D, right? I was taking a little bit of a hiatus from playing the game myself when Venom released, so I'm a little bit fuzzy on the memory department for how this character works, gonna be honest. This will combo though, and we'll get the round for Spooky. There's even the RoboKai follow-up afterwards if you want to go for that, or if you don't get the kill with whatever you just had. So now Spook in a really decent position where he only needs 2 to take it home. Ooh, Slayer looks like the pick here, and I think that's one of Spooky's better characters. And Slayer, this is such an anti-meta matchup for a Testament. It's like you're already playing against the meta yourself, being Testament and having like a 3-step game plan, but then you have to contend with one of the highest damage, one of the highest conversion characters in this whole game, which is Slayer. And Slayer also has K-Nappa, one of the moves that is so fast. And look at this, the Arbiter sign can't even keep up with that move. Instant air dash, jump slash. One of the things for Slayer is that he has a slightly, slightly floatier air dash. Oh, we're also probably have some sort of, we have technical difficulties, or maybe, okay, good to go, good to go. The session, however, not plus enough there. Reversaling with the Calamity 1. Yeah, there's the 5 heavy again. I've seen ooh, this is gonna cleave straight to the other side. Boom, bam! Lots of damage. But a little late on that. I mean, I think the idea was not to perform a Mappa Hunch meaty at all. Great spacing again with the 5 heavy. Wow. If Jayce gets this, like Jayce, I think Jayce has to get this. Jayce absolutely has to get this so that they can stay competitive on this set. But at the same time, it's like, in my head, because this character is like, I think no, that was in the middle of backdash, so gets caught by the Super Mappa Hunch. Straight there, we'll be able to pick up, that's a great pickup. Oh my goodness, send the girls. Let's see if Spook can get over this. This character does have an air dash, but we're opting to just take it easy. Don't try to do anything fancy. At least too fancy. Finding a bar slash counter hit. Go first, okay. Into, bait it, and a 5B. Just a quick jab on the noggin. It's like, huh, great attempt. It's like fist bump, yeah. Yeah. Ooh, Master's Hammer! Actually powering through that fireball. So there is a strike portion of the, on both of the Grave Reapers. Waking up with the 6B into Straight into the pile bunker. One more hit. Back turn incident. Back throw incident. Teleport into... Ouch. Into big ouchies. The idea was to teleport into, you know, those standard good jumping mix-ups that Testament has, but something went wrong there. I think usually even if you connect jumping at that height that Jayce did there, you should probably have like, usually you start with jump heavy, then you can go into jump D, then you can go into your air fireball as well. So there's a lot of different so that's a Bedman. There's a lot of different buttons that you could be hitting there and prevent the opponent from getting a turn of their own. But alas, maybe Jayce wanted to go for a throw there. Or there's so many different things that could have happened there, honestly. So Bedman for Spooky is also in the decent tier. So yeah. We're gonna have to work it. We're gonna have to work it against the second top tiers. In a match of two very similar kind of characters, I want to say. It's like if there's a character or if there's a pair in Guilty Gear Strive who has a multiple step game plan, it would be these two. Testament needs to throw fireballs and then needs to apply the curse and then strike. And what Bedman needs to do, Bedman needs to find that error and then find its way into pressure after storing the error optimally, so that you could go into your guard crush loops. Is this a... Wait, is that a reversal? Spooky did wake up with it. But I mean, it doesn't really have a strike component at all, even if it is Invu. Checkpoint, what is it? Set point for Spooky. First one of the sets. All right, it's a good, loses the error immediately. There we go, rev up the malfunction once again. It's like, usually your easiest party starter, if you can hold the opponent steady for long enough for them to respect the malfunction. Ooh, that would reach? Yep, that would reach. It is slow, but it has decent reach. There's the airstring. Jump heavy, jump D into downwards fireball. But then Jayce got caught. And that's gonna be a kill, especially with the explosion error. Just like that, the set is done and deal. Spooky starting a little shaky. I think Jayce got a lot of rounds at the start of the set, but then it started snowballing and Spooky started to warm up. And like it's a little tricky, especially if you're used to just playing character lock versus character lock, because the matchup is gonna change every single match. It's not just the player who is randoming, but it can be hard to keep up with the player who is being randomed against as well. But that would finally, whew, it's a little tiring. It requires a lot of concentration. It requires a lot of attention. Those random select matches, I gotta say, especially as the TO. But yeah, we have the random selects behind, and 3 more matches remain. Out of which the first one would be Radune. You know that guy, that Leo player. So let's see. So Radune. Wait, is this our 5th match? Weren't we supposed to delay this a little bit more? Oh, I see. I see what the problem here is. No, we weren't supposed to play this yet. Give me a moment. I think I put these cards in wrong positions, did I not? Because I have 2 cards for Radune and BlackRaven. This is quite the conundrum. Let me make sure. Gotcha. Oh yeah, now I remember. Because we had the problem with K
K Caliban and the fact that we couldn't reach them. Funny thing is, I lost the card. Did I really lose the card? Am I that dumb? Am I that bad at this? Let me go back. So I mean, technically, yeah, I actually replaced that card, didn't I? Whoa, I'm so bad. But yeah, the problem here is that we don't really have K available, because for mysterious reasons they just completely disappeared from the face of the earth. So I think that will count as a self-disqualify then? So that would mean, even though I had the cards in the wrong position, is like, look at the dummy I did. So BlackRaven was supposed to initially be the Unica player, and I was like, oh, I forgot to inform Neat that we actually needed to make a card for the Baiken. So I put this card in the position where their match was supposed to be, and then in this position where we were supposed to have Case and Loki's match. I put this here, but I guess it doesn't matter because K is not around. So then we can just proceed by messaging Radune and BlackRaven. And I think I saw Radune in the chat, so should be back from work as well. That was the one restraint that we or time restraint that we had for Dune. Don't forget the update. That's okay. We can talk some smack here. So BlackRaven has been playing Unica as well recently, but for this matchup especially, because we had a couple of cancels this week, so our roster got changed a little. And because even though Raven did sign up with Unica, we were like, okay, it's probably like it would make a better matchup if you go with your main. And I think Raven was very compliant with that as well. Was actually hoping to play the main more than Unica, perhaps. And against the badass like Radune, you're probably gonna bring all of your best tricks with you. Raven, of course, is, knows the ins and outs of the set play of this character, and I think often says that, that they are, when it comes to playing this character, they are the best with the set play. Like, if you get into the position where you get to mix it up, those hard to guess against mix-ups, although like some of Baiken's mix-ups are a little difficult against good DP characters. I know for a fact that, for example, Baiken will have to pick very particular options out of like throw, attach Kabari, left-right mix-ups, because the thing is, a lot of players or a lot of characters who have like 9-frame reversal DPs, they're gonna be probably using the FD DP OS against you. So if you perform an option from the front, they're gonna produce FD, and if you go for the cross up, the input is gonna give you a DP backwards. And the thing is that her crossing options from a lot of setups are much harder to make safe jumps than the front options. So that limits your options to a certain extent, like what you can actually play against strong DP characters. Although this is a flash kick character, is it not? So I think, those option selects don't really work the same way on flash kick. But on the other hand, you don't have to guess the direction either. So that would mean if the Baiken does not safe jump against the 9-frame reversal,
And I think many of her setups are not as good. Or like some of the set play options are not as great against safe jumps. You can kind of force a conundrum where you can make the Baiken player forfeit some of the potential of their mix-up game, the potential of their set play game by going into weaker options, by just forcing the flash kick. And of course, on top of that, you don't need to guess the direction. It will go left, it will go right, it will work out every single scenario with that down-up input. There seems to be some sort of, hold up with the way. Oh, never mind. There we go. There we have the hero, the Leo, the homie. Here comes Radune Leo for the first time against Raven. Now that I think about it, these players are not actually too bad of a match against each other, probably. I mean, it's always like a little hard to judge, like how, because Radune is a very specific type of player, and if you can't adjust to the kind of momentum that Radune drives, it can be really difficult to play against his Leo. So you need certain kind of adaptability. Wait, did I say that correctly? Did Radune Leo just not heavy flash kick on the first round start? Was that a misinput? Has the world turned upside down? Is Radune sick? Are you okay? Are you okay, buddy? Where's the flash kick? It's just so funny. I think I've seen for the last couple of years or more, I've seen Radune start every single FT7 set with a flash kick, but not this time. All right, but making up for all of those flash kicks. Oh, trading in definitely Raven's favor, but that gun is not a reversal, so the flash kick will take the better of it. Waiting for the burst. Ooh, that was a heavy impact RPS situation. Both players pick a very hard to commit option. Like even if you think that Raven, it was just like, no, he just didn't do anything. No, it was a zero health situation. You had to burst there if you had to survive, and Radune specifically was waiting for the last minute burst, but it never came. All right, flash kick out of the tether. Now you're caged in with me. With an extra tether, switch sides. Oh, wait, huh? That looked like a really funny sliding there. As if Radune air dashed through on Oki and then slid towards the left, and the back turn K went into the wrong direction. Did I say that correctly? That was kind of funny. Oh, let's also put this back into the normal lobby type. So put this on rematch. Always forget to swap after the random select matches. But yeah, this would be a 1-0 for Raven going forward. Might Radune actually attempt what was robbed of him previously? Is it gonna be the flash kick? No. Okay. I like it. I actually like it. But the flash kick will come afterwards with the reversal parry, though. The reversal parry is kind of great in terms of, blocking Leo's meaty berserker slashes, because I think the parry does not care about whether the hit comes from back or front, or does it? Am I completely misguided on my Baiken mechanics? Wait, now I'm second guessing myself. Oh, the jump D hits in and scores a combo on counter hit. I think without the counter hit, it's gonna be a little bit of a harder to hit confirm combo. You would probably have to cancel into DP or something on landing. With that counter hit, you can just pick up with normals. Easy peasy like that. To the other side. And yeah, we'll be able to queue up the super as well. So that's gonna be set play inbound. I think many Viking players, especially against 9-frame reversals, will use this SKATTEETATEN instead. So you're just gonna pull them to your side with a little bit of an advantage. I mean, technically it could work against you in a way if you attach the kabari, the SKATTEETATEN, and then you get flash kicked afterwards. Because the opponent can utilize that tether as well and make up their own combos on the fly if you have a character who has that capability. I don't really know a lot of characters that can do that though. I mean, even my own main Sin, like, you have to have really specific conditions to be able to combo into like unique combos with the tether attached. Big damage through the wall. Raven has a meter. Was probably trying to use it as well, but maybe didn't get the input out. Will in fact get counter hit by Radune's meaty there. Although it is one type of strategy for Viking players, because you have that reversal parry. You could say, okay, so your only option if you're trying to do like a safe jump or something on me, or if you're trying to meaty me, your only option is to not safe jump and not meaty. Therefore, I get to press buttons. So you could mash close slash with your life on the line. Oh, spend a little bit of meter on that trick in the block drive by Yozan into jump slash sweep into a throw. Now, I would like to hear from the person himself. Was that what you meant to go for? I mean, usually, like when you're playing bike and you don't usually do, mix-ups that are gonna miss. Like, why are you playing bike and if you don't know your set play? So maybe that was, in fact, just to skip into the throw. And with the tether attached, throws are very powerful starters. Go for the low this time. Unleashing the parry strike. What are actually Vikings low? So you have 2K and you have 2 heavy. Oh, this would be a punish. No meter there. Maybe Radune was banking. Oh, the gun will actually get there faster than the heavy what's that called? Heavy fireball. But yeah, I think Radune might have been betting on the fact that I have a positive bonus. Even if I don't have the 100 meter right now, maybe I'm gonna build it. But the thing is, if you start a super, I think like supers, overdrives, and Guilty Gear Strive, they will inflict meter build penalty as well. Even though positive bonus kind of counteracts that, it's still gonna be hard to get to that 100 unless you land normals first, right? Through the wall we go. Raven once again, 50 meters, so the reversal super is available. However, here comes the cross up. Countering the second one with a parry, and now into a very big combo. Could be a super ender. Is the tether gonna screw it up though? It's gonna pull you towards a Viking, but seems to work. Not a safe jump against the 9-framer, huh? Take out the heavy fireball and use it to combo as well. That's so sick. Usually you don't get to utilize that, those what do you call them in Street Fighter? Charge fireballs. Why can't I remember? What is Kyle's fireball called? Oh my god, I'm too old for this shit. I can't even remember the name of Guile's moves. Anyway. Raven with the Sonic Boom, that's it. Sonic Boom. You don't usually get to utilize those heavy Sonic Booms quite like that. I mean, they can be approach tools for sure, but to get the combo like that. Ooh, are we gonna have a Strive Earth moment? Oh, I guess this is a problem on my side. No drop frames though. Okay, that's pretty fast gameplay here, and looks like Raven is gonna take it. Damn. Interesting. So not an internet issue on my side, but might have been like a connection issue with the Strive servers there. Ooh, Radune 6P is actually to the right side. That's the easiest counterplay. So if you think the Baiken player is gonna air dash over you and try to go for a cross-up Yozan, what you have to do is you gotta delay your anti-air a little bit and then unleash the 6P after after Baiken has already crossed you up, right? And it's a pretty, like, that's not the most intuitive tech. The timing has to be correct, so I'm actually pretty impressed that Radune was able to do that there. Kill the Gear Strive Turbo. Super Turbo. You know what Umehara used to say is like, I used to practice with the turbo option on super high speed because I learned to play the game on the fastest possible setting, and when I went to the tournaments, it looked like it was all slow motion. Damn. That's why he's the legend. Ooh, but that's gonna counter the Gabari and unleash the parry strike afterwards into a decent combo. You already seen it. Radune on the chase, on the prowl, looking to make a comeback. I mean, it's like, it's not that BlackRaven ran away with too much of a lead anyway, so there's still quite a lot of room for all sorts of developments here for sure. Starting with the 2S, because Radune was so close. Ooh. Yeah, the 2S is not a low though, so it's just gonna register as a parryable hit for the. I'm always hesitant to like decide what to call that. This is like parry stance, guard point stance. I think it's like it's mechanically more like a guard point than it is a parry. Ooh, the RPS there. There's Fireball. Knocking the opponent down, and I think if your opponent's back is against the corner, if you're working with the corner position, then the SDP is gonna give you some amount of, you know, ability to continue your pressure afterwards. Otherwise, I think Leo, just like any other DP character in the game, just doesn't get that much after the reversal. Only Sinkisk has that privilege by burning stamina. Right, time to dunk him. One more hit. Cross up, yes indeed. We have these mix-ups at home as well. Even though, like, Leo is not quite as intricate of a mix-up character as Baiken is, it's like you have pretty simple stuff and you can always tell when the mix-up is coming, right? I think that's the downside of Leo's mix-ups, is that when he's in back turn, when he's pressuring you, it's always like you're guessing for the high and you're guessing for the low, and you can't see the high. It doesn't animate. It is slow, frame data wise, but you can't see it. Don't pretend that you do. Ooh, wait. Huh? Wait a second. Wait, does the gun initially have a strike? Or what happened here? It looked like Radune got like bopped out of the startup of the super even before the bullet itself had exploded. Interesting. Need slow motion. Need instant replay. Alright, with the tether. We get the big BMB and then through the wall and then Escavare, right? No, this time we actually go in. Mixes it up. It's subverting everybody's expectations. Wait, does Baiken actually have a 9-frame safe jump then? It's like you would imagine that the Leo player is gonna just down back and be ready to unleash the flash kick if the opponent air dashes forward. Right, got the parry, but a little bit too far. Cross up into. Good mash there against the run through. Nice, and BlackRaven was on the prowl for that burst, and that's gonna be a kill. Take the wall. 5-2. Raven doing surprisingly good. I think so. There's been surprisingly little difficulties actually dealing with the reversal game of Leo this time around. I guess it's because like you always have an opportunity to try to go for like you have a lot of sequences that move yourself backwards and stay very defensive, but also you have your SKATTEETATEN that doesn't really have a hurt box per se, right? And I think Raven must have done their homework as well, because they're approaching with a lot of safe jump looking stuff. Okay, so that's kind of like the downside of the SKATTEETATEN is that if you think your opponent will go for it, and if your backdash is good enough, you can just backdash out of it. I wonder if there's any kind of counterplay against that. Ooh, missed with the Kabari follow-up, so that gives Radune an opportunity to turn it up. However, look at that heavy Kabari. One of the, like, not even one of the, literally the highest reach of tools in Baiken's kit. Can actually, with that slow startup, can poke all across the screen. Chooses to go for a reversal super. However, I think Radune was baiting and will be able to flash kick between the PRC and the super. But yet, it is not good enough. Radune dying with a full stick of butter. Surprising. I think it might be. It might be that, like, in a lot of these situations, Radune is probably trying to get the reversals out, but maybe just not hitting the reversal inputs perfectly. Because it is definitely a thing where you're like, fuck, I'm trying to DP. I'm trying to reversal super, yet if you don't get that perfect reversal timing, then a simple meaty is gonna beat you. Nice interception, tries to combo with the S flash kick, however, doesn't seem like that's gonna be the right choice here. And now, big combo opportunity. Reset into, ooh, keeping it very tricky. And especially if you're not familiar with you know, all of the setups and the tricks, such as what the doctor ordered right here. If you don't know all the shenanigans, Baiken can reset you quite easily, and that's what Raven has been doing. Ooh, missed with the glow slash. Radune still forced to use the burst. This is set point position, by the way. Raven needs one more combo. Is that a kill? Super? Gun? Bam! Through the wall. That's the weaker hitting super, though. And there it is. SKATTEETATEN once again. The save. Pull the opponent back to me. Get over here. And 10. It's basically just an RPS between, are you gonna flash kick me? No. Then I'm gonna tap you into, probably into a mix-up. And that's exactly what happened there. I bet there was a flash kick attempt, probably. But it's sometimes a little hard. It's hard to get those reversal inputs out, especially if your opponent is so clean and precise with those meaties, with those, you know, keeping their setups as tight as possible, and so on and so forth. So Raven will clean this one up 7-2 with that, especially with that stuff that Raven always says that I'm pretty good at. It's the set play. It seems to flow really well. The combos work out really well. Again, Baiken, a character that has super high combo potential, is actually one of the few set play, or rather one of the few mix-up characters in the game that also has really explosive rewards from their mix-ups. I mean, of course, you have characters like, you know, Gold Lewis and the Grapplers, like Potemkin. Of course, those characters have high rewards from their mix-ups as well, but they're not necessarily like, not really mix-up characters in the same way that maybe Baiken is, because you have a lot of grimy stuff from all angles. It's kind of like you're comparing Baiken to characters like Milia or Ino in my books. But those characters don't have a lot of rewards from their set it and forget it Oki kind of situations, right? But Baiken does. Baiken does. But that's sort of the whatchamacallit, the trade-off. Because you're working a little bit harder at neutral. You have to get in. You have to get into the perfect spacing to run your mix-ups. But when you do, the mix-ups are good and they're explosive. Okay, we got a proposition from Icarus and Kitty. So apparently they want to do, for the first game, they want to do a Joker card kind of starter. They're gonna play each other's mains instead, after which I believe they're gonna switch to their respective mains. So Nagoriyuki for Icarus and Johnny for Kitty. That's the first one. That will work. That will work for sure. Fun stuff is indeed acceptable on bounty hunters, as we say. As long as the fun stuff is sort of premeditated, or rather agreed upon with your opponent. So you're not bringing into some sort of funky shenanigans without your opponent agreeing to that as well. But here's a pair that we've had on bounty hunters so many times. But so far, Icarus and Kitty have been, or rather recently, Icarus and Kitty have been playing the random select match, right? I can remember at least 2 occasions. Although I think they've played the mains on bounty hunters as well. I think I caught a little bit of lore earlier that in recent ranking battles, and I think this is referring to offline matches, right? Gotta make sure that we have names right. So
I knew that they cannot change society.
Icarus should be playing Johnny here, right? In the left side. Yeah, okay. This is gonna be interesting. I don't think I've ever seen Icarus on Johnny. Neither have I seen Kitty on Nago. Do these players even know how to pilot these characters? I mean, technically, it would be in the spirit of the random pick challenge if it turned out that neither one of them actually has a lot of experience in these characters. So it's kind of like, all right,
Johnny versus Nagoriyuki.
what can you do with that character? And neither one of these characters are really plug and play, I want to say. Nago is like easy execution but hard hard resource management. And then Johnny, on the other hand, has execution requirement for sure. Alright, but Icarus definitely had, oh, the TK Mistfinder was a little unclean looking like there. Wasn't the lowest possible one. Kitty's really high on blood here, so we'll be we'll be sort of forced to play with the new the normals, and finds a really nice normal as well. The bar slash sequence, especially the last of the sequence, is really good at bringing back blood. So much so that you have enough juice to push it after the wall break. Started with the 9-frame bar slash. Probably not something that Nago can challenge very easily. I mean, you can try to... No, you can't even DP, because it's 11 frame startup, right? Or is it 10? 11? I think 11, right? Or 10? Not sure. Ooh, it's actually a pickup, and we're burning as well. Kitty with the combo. And the 2-6 heavies also very good at draining blood back. And look at that, the startup of that 2S gets faster. That's in fact, I think in level 3, it's how fast? Is it 9 frames? I think it's like it's 9 or 10 frames, right? In level 3. So it's actually Kitty who picks up the initial round with the reverse mains. And those were some pretty decent combos. And good realization as well. Let's put it like this. If it's a high blood Nago, you have to respect that 2S at round start. It's really easy to forget that it starts up so damn fast. Because it's like you usually think about the hitbox improvement to Nago's kit, right? When he gains more blood. But some of the moves actually get startup improvements, namely the 2S. I think 2S is the only one, right? That improves in startup. Might be wrong. Alright, back to their respective mains. Icarus, really good block on there on the overhead. And another one, we actually went for a tap 5D instead of the TK TK Mistfinder. Already queue up the Mistfinder, so that's not the greatest. Because you're gonna have a soft knockdown here, so Icarus will definitely be able to play, but the whiff punish here, waiting for the button press. It is definitely that kind of matchup where both characters have a lot of potential for, you know, poking into each other's missed pokes. So the timing is everything. Tap them with the 5D. No, it's gonna be, I think, ±0. But it's a little awkward to tap them when you don't have the meter yet ready to go. We punish there on the 2S. It's gonna be a soft knockdown, tumble into, take the throw, and then the meter burn, or rather the blood burn. Had decent amount of blood gauge open there, so it was bound to happen. Yo, this XP actually reaches them. Damn. Right, not quite enough tension to get the hard knockdown, and Icarus tried to go under with the 2K, but I think the 6B might have been the right call there. I'm unsure. Right by jump gate, Johnny with the cross-up hitbox, setting up the card. No, actually getting the wall break here, and again, a little bit of a. I guess you have to say it's a little bit of a mistake when you can't queue up your super to get the hard knockdown, because like, what character in Guilty Gear Strive would not take the super hard knockdown if they can? Ooh, with the clean 2S, actually catching the round start Beyblade. Where the 6B going? Wrong direction. Going for the gold burst. There are definitely some Yomi layers here. Maybe expecting a sort of like a meaty Beyblade or something of the sort from that distance. Couple of 2Ds, waiting for the wave punish perhaps. Ooh, there was still a mix up there. Set up the card. You're gonna get card crushed overhead, and since we didn't have the card anymore, but we can substitute tension for the card. Or the other way around. Spending a lot of blood here, waiting for the pop. I think that's a kill, right? No, not quite. Not even with 6 heavy. Maybe if Icarus had the tension, then we could have unleashed the beastly super. Oh. Missed fighter, 0 hit points on Icarus. That's unfortunate. Stomp on them. I think it was a gold burst attempt, but getting the blue one. All fine still. The target is very high on blood, so. Oh, that was actually a wall slump. It looked like Icarus was slumped really high up on the wall, but I guess you would know. Too early on the bite. So the counter throw will come through. Usually, like if you're trying to bite on the right frame, as sort of, or actually, I'm sure. Waiting for the response, a little bit too far there. Would have had to dash forward and the challenge there afterwards. Kitty. I guess this is exactly why Kitty has been, you know, taking the cake on the ranking battles recently. Looking really clean. I think Kitty has also been kind of the aggressor on the random select characters. Where the 5K going? Oh my god! Icarus had to suffer so many normals going in the wrong direction this set. -2, but usually, I want to say usually a really good situation. That 6 heavy from Nagoriyuki on block. However, against Johnny. One of the most far-reaching far slashes. One of the fastest, or rather the fastest far slash type available as well. 9 frames to reach that distance is actually pretty sick against the -2. And the 2S prevents the round start. Wait, how fast does the input frames of White Wild Assault activate? Is that what's supposed to happen there? Set it up. Ooh, I think the idea was a wire C before the mix-up could happen. But I mean, Icarus will definitely enjoy the... Oh, is there gonna be a pop? It's gonna be super close, not quite. Tries to hit the 5 heavy, however, Kitty's there already, reading every move, sent the card, that's gonna be a kill, pop him! 4 in a row. Yeah, Kitty's definitely been improving on the Johnny recently. Kitty's also playing quite a bit. Not just Stripe, but also other fighting games as far as I'm aware. That's minus, yep. Got a backdash out of that. And if you want to catch that, you would probably have to go for like a far slash. Ooh, tried to go for a drift forward mix-up this time, or rather try to catch the same way you would try to catch on a Stun Dipper PRC on a very low cancel frames. Jump K into combo. That's gonna alleviate the blood problems a little bit. Getting really close to, yep, that level 3 threshold. Usually, like if you go below level 3, then you're like, all right, I can probably burn a Hukyo and a special move, so you have basically like most of your options still open. As the pace of the matches is so fast. 1 second before you were throwing the card. Ooh, I got them with a 6K. And the hard knockdown. Oh, Icarus is not gonna get the burst back in time, but also might have not even wanted to use it, because she is sitting on a round lead here. So better to just, you know, take it easy. Kitty had such a big life lead here anyway. And there's the 9-frame far slash once again. Icarus spent quite a bit of blood there. I think it was Fukio into Beyblade, trying to get the you know, her own pressure going. Cross up into, what is this? What is this? What is this grind? What are these mix-ups? I hate it here. Send help, Ishiwatari, send help. All right, with a DP counter hit, gonna go into a big combo. The far slash, as well as the Ender 6 heavy, gonna probably take Icarus around like half blood. Oh, it's going even further. We basically have our full blood bar open here. Now, if only we got to utilize it. We're definitely gonna utilize it. That's gonna be pop. Does Kitty realize? Are we safe here? Mistfinder does not. I think there was a Mistfinder cancel as well. So didn't even hold it. Was completely out of, you know, out of the range of that super. But technically, that was the only thing that Icarus could have done there to sort of save herself. Pray that the opponent somehow extends into the blood draining super and hope for the best. But alas, Kitty was patient, and now once again this kind of burst strategy is super important against Nago. Wait for him to spend meter, sorry, to spend blood, and once the blood is high, then you burst. Especially on, ooh, what was that a Joker trick startup? I thought I saw this. Maybe my name PRC. It was some sort of shenanigan that Kitty was trying to do there. I'm trying to analyze the frame that got sort of burned into my readiness. Started with 2D this time. That actually, no way. That goes into a full combo. Jesus. I love Guilty Gear Stripe top tiers. Bar slash once again preventing the, was that a DP startup? It's like, no matter how you look at it, Johnny is probably the strongest round start character in the game because of that far slash. Even Nago has been long considered like the king of round starts because of his like explosive options and like strong hitboxes and all of that. But like Nago, it costs Nago blood to use some of his best options, right? Whereas Johnny, the power is locked behind his normals. Far slash, 2S that you can't walk out of. those are basically the building blocks of get fucked kind of round start. Now Kitty throwing the card really far away, so won't be able to misfire into that unless... Yeah, I think Kitty was trying to look for a position where she could strike into it, but didn't really find the good angle or the timing. 2K, yep, sees the move, revving up, go with a faster one. This RPS again, and now it's 2S, and the 2S reaches way further than the bar slash, which makes it even more tricky. Alright, get the wall break. No super quite yet. Tension is on the verge. Icarus trying to force the situation. That was a good idea. The backwards Fukio could be a tool that baits the YRC. Alas, it's the timing, the frame count. It's like, are you teleporting far enough away with that backwards Fukio when that YRC goes off? And if the opponent YRC is really fast, then it will still catch you. Which is kind of tragic because you lose that Fukio blood that you spent, that you tried to get on the hard, that you spent on the hard reach to catch that reversal. Ooh, from downtown, above. Airstrike danger. Kitty's getting very close. Now, this is tough. Because like Icarus is not a pushover either. She did so good at Head Stomper as well, like taking out some of her, I guess some of her demons as well, such as like Hoplan. This is a lot of blood spent, but she can definitely afford to. That was hidden behind the blood buff of Blood-Sucking Universe after all. So it's if that's not a party time kind of a go cute, then I don't know what is. Starting with the white wireless cell. This time it actually works out. So not sure what Kitty was hitting that time for it to actually work. All right, no -2. I'm actually gonna go in. DP 1-2. The life advantage is there. 6B no cancel. Taps the 5D. Kitty's ready to block the overhead. Guard crush. Waiting for some sort of response. I think that 2P was looking for a YRC here. There's the YRC finally. And now... Yo, the guts to press against the startup of the clone. I would be covering in my pants when Nago is blood burning, but Kitty does not care. Kitty just slices and dices. Full blood bars here. Icarus gets the first bite. Yep, doesn't want to go through the wall. I like that. That's 2 bars of blood. So into level 3. But now we are in a really difficult position. Even if you are Johnny, in this corner zoning position or corner boxing position, Nago definitely has the upper hand. Sorry for the hiccups. It's getting so. Oh, a samurai mix, and it bites, it hits, it strikes, and Icarus avoids the most shameful display that could happen to you on FT7. Regains her honor, says that I shall not be free against this fraud of a Johnny player. But now it's only 1 point. That's the problem. It is only 1 point, and Kitty has been so dominant so far. Where can we even go with this? Kitty has so much room to, such a huge buffer to adjust to whatever you could do. And goes for not even a shimmy, but a throw crush there with the use of Ensenga. And she's not about to stop. Are we gonna see a burst here? Oh, I think Kitty was kind of half expecting the burst to come through. Reset it into the deal. But that deal was done as well. Through the wall, hard knockdown. Set point position. Gold burst is a good start for Icarus for sure. Oh, was that an auto time? Yo, the save! I think even without the blood-sucking universe, I think she was fine. That was probably on the precipice, but it's way better to get the buff and get all of that blood out of your system. There's even a relief buff from the super, so technically Icarus, well, I mean, technically a clean blood bar, almost. But here comes Kitty's response. Ooh, both players dashing to their respective directions. Icarus looking to be alive. Somehow, decent advantage here on the last round as well. Almost full blood bar. Sorry, blood bar. Burst bar. Guard crush, take the mix up here. Yeah, just close slash into a low. Checking if the opponent is churning something. Through the wall we go. Even though this is a soft knockdown, the life advantage is huge. And the resource advantage soon to be pretty big as well. Oh, Icarus is not gonna pop, is she? Not quite, but this is level 3. Oh, that's a kill, right? Look at the damage. Even if Icarus had double the life that she had left, it would still have done enough with that modifier. Kitty, absolutely relentless, ruthless. Dominating the set. I mean, yeah, what can we say? Kitty just seems to have Icarus's number on this, you know, this player matchup as of recent. And she's out of there. And it's like, I must go. My people need me. Whoosh. Okay. Even taking the reverse main game there. Although, I mean, we could go into a full analysis about like which character is easier to play, easier to pick up, which I don't know. Maybe it's Nago. I'm like, in my mind, Johnny is a little more technical in the sense that like you need pretty good execution on the set play and the combos. If you drop those, you're leaving a shit ton of value on the table. Happy Pride Month, everybody. Yeah. Okay, I think that's all of our matches for tonight, right? Even though we had only 6 because of the one missing, we had so many random select matches, and those usually tend to take quite a bit of time. So it was technically 6 matches, but like with 3 random select matches, it felt like it was a full 7-1. Okay, well, you know the deal. If you want to play next week, you can, for instance, join the Discord, and I'm gonna post the next sign up Google Forms in just a bit. Try to match you up with a player of similar skill level, and hopefully a player that has a good connection to you as well. And we'll play these exciting FT7 matches now and forever, question mark? Okay, let's see, is there any Guilty Gear action in twitch.tv happening at the moment? Let's weigh our options. No events going on at the moment, are there? I do not recognize a lot of these people, so let's just send you guys to Scatter, who is also one of our Bounty Hunters players. Once in a while, participating. And with that, I bid you a good rest of the last of your weekend, and a merry start of your week. Happy Pride Month and happy everything of the sort. We'll see you again next Sunday, 5 p.m. CEST. Till then, thank you so much for watching. See you again then. Bye-bye.